And I'm going to turn it over to the players because they know what they're doing and I don't. So go for it.
Bold assumption.
Anakai's out of breath because we just ran through the entire city
That's true.
being chased.
They're just like, duh, duh.
Oh, God. Okay, well, time to leave. I think we need to leave now and change my name and change my occupation. Probably leave the continent. Can we get back on the boat?
Okay, wait, no, I know where we need to go. There is a city west. Was it west of here, Mortanis?
Indeed, it was the city of Vilewater, which is west and south.
We need to head southwest to the city of Vilewater. Just get the hell out of here. And there also has more answers on where we need to go for this mythical city with the staff. Just
I mean, as long as we have the staff, and I've got the Church of Voxna on our side. We're supposed to be meeting with them tomorrow to help for resources for an expedition.
Didn't we give the staff to Saphia? Didn't we shove the staff into Saphia's hands?
Yes, while running through town.
Proceeded to hand it to me, so Udalotsa is carrying the staff at the moment.
But they're with us.
No, we're still walking. You guys ran inside, and we just continue to walk and talk.
Okay.
I have a bit more to share about Hazatl with Udalotsa. I felt no need to run after you.
Well, since you guys are still outside of the inn, why don't Saphia and Udalotsa give me perception checks, visual based here, please. Oh, I should probably bring up the ability to see the rolls. I need another monitor. 3 is just not doing it anymore.
What?
Choo choo. Oh, not bad, not bad. Hey, we're off to a pretty strong start for something. That means that hubris will strike later on this evening at some point.
History check.
No, not a history check. Just the old perception. Okay. As you guys are working your way through, you do notice, of course, the cat man and the snake lady passing you by, stuffing the staff into your hand, and then, whatnot. But as you take in the ambiance of the fact that something weird is going on, you glance around and you do notice that they were being followed by 2 figures, though they are not attempting to follow at a quick pace. They're following, definitely intending to be sneaky about it, almost surreptitious. They're pretending to be part of the crowd, but definitely keeping an eye as they race across the courtyard, dodging and weaving between various pedestrians and working their way on over to the inn. You can see that their eyes follow Anakai and Sam as they run into the inn. One is an imposing man that looks like the sort of thing if an armoire was given flesh. Crap. What was that movie with Beauty and the Beast? Wasn't there an armoire in that? Well, it's like that. This dude is perfectly square.
An actual armoire.
Yes, like an actual armoire, like a closet where one puts clothing, like a wardrobe.
That's just like a large imposing man, but no, literally.
No, literally no. I mean, he's built like that, like perfectly square. Shoulders very wide, but the body is almost as wide, and it's just hulking.
This man is Steve from Minecraft.
Yeah, kind of.
Loud friend.
So
this one believes that cat friend and snake friend are being followed.
Yes, I see that. Well, that presents a problem, mainly because, unfortunately, we need them. Just keep hold of that staff. I doubt things should get very messy, but if they do, that staff that you're holding is very important to what you need.
This one will protect it.
Also, how opposed are you to lighting things on fire and quite possibly burning not just humans, unfortunately, but also an inn that might also be made of wood? Just getting a feel.
This one would prefer not to burn tree friends, but this one will burn those pesky human peoples.
I didn't say they were human. I got cut off before I could do the flavor text. Boom!
This one will burn those pesky following peoples.
Perfect.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So the one that's enormous and built like a armoire, but not an actual armoire, is wearing suspenders and a thick canvas style of breeches with a plain white button-up shirt that just barely buttons in the front, bulging to the point of nearing tearing free. Looks kind of, call it like dock worker, business casual type of a thing. Sleeves are rolled on up, and if he had a tattoo, it'd probably be of like an anchor or something, you know, Popeye style. The other one is a male gnome, though very clean shaven, hair slicked back, suave kind of look. Leather jacket with buckles crisscrossed on the front, leather satchel, very Indiana Jones-esque adventurer. You're starting to get a feel for that type because it's apparently going to be very prevalent in this campaign. Rather than a sword on one hip, he's got a rock pick sitting there. And they do not appear to have noticed you noticing them. Now I continue. Or now you continue. Someone continues and it's not me. How about that?
Fair.
Yes, so then if they haven't noticed us, but they are looking towards there, I still tell that to Urlotza, and I would like to continue our pace casually. However, I would like to follow them wherever they are. And if they do go into the bar, I'll allow them some space to do whatever, but I will try to keep myself in somewhat of a flanking position.
Okay. Since you are near the dock district, and this is, as we determined, the Saucy Rattler, the lowest bar / inn in the entire establishment, you know, there is a lot of people that are funneling in from the ships and working their way towards the port so that they can come in and out. So it's a decent amount of traffic. As a carriage goes by, decently decked out with like gold trim and black lacquered paint on the side, blocking view for a second. As soon as it passes on by, you can see that they've taken up residence in an alley, kitty corner from the Saucy Rattler, allowing them to keep eyes on the front door without any issue and keeping themselves out of the path of the crowd. The big guy starts to pace like between one end of the alley across side to side, like he's just really anxious to get something going on. The little one, the gnome, just kind of crosses his arms, leans up against the wall, fingering the pick at his hip, just kind of running it along the edge, watching, very, very focused, like barely blinking. Nothing pulls his attention away from it. So he just watches the door that Anakai and Sam had just entered on through. Again, they still do not seem to care anything about you guys.
Just to clarify, I was with them, and I think Pallas was with me too.
Yeah, I believe the whole party was with Sam and
yeah, except for
me and
Urlotza,
Udala, and Sophia rather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then you guys may go about your business. Move along. Move along.
In that case, if they're pacing inside of the alleyway, taking note where they are, I would like to just continue walking casually and make my way into the Saucy Rattler.
Okay. Anyone else?
I
Sam-
am scanning the crowd.
I think Udalotso, as Sophia walks in, Udalotso would say, "This one does not wish to enter. This one will wait here and watch."
Okay. If the large one, the small one, I'm not really worried about. If the one that looks like some sort of wooden dresser, if you guys come close, give some sort of signal, and yes, I think that should suffice. I should only be a minute to fetch the others, and I'll nod and I'll make my way into the Saucy Rattler, looking for the rest of the group.
Okay. As noted, the Saucy Rattler kind of caters to dock workers and drunks of a certain caliber, those being cheap drunks because, you know, alcohol is just so expensive, dear God. And so even for mid-afternoon, hey, it's packed. I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere on the planet, right? So you wander on in. It's decently filled on out. There's tables set all over the place. There's, you know, the bar on one side that we'd talked about previously, and the bartender kind of gives you a bit of a nod. Not much of one, just a bit of one, you know, second. And I have no idea where Anakai and Sam would have gone to amongst once bustling directly into the building.
Anakai would have gone into the heart of the crowd, kind of crouch down just a little bit and try and keep his eyes scanning for all around the area to see if he sees any of the people that were chasing him.
Okay.
I'd say we were probably all like at a table trying to blend in, like being at, like bar goers, but like we're in like the middle of the bar.
Okay. There's a table near the center-ish that you guys can take up residence.
Okay. So, but we're just gonna be there, and then, like, as when we get like, I'll be talking with them, being like, telling them like about that city that we have to go to, like, you know, explain kind of like, yeah, I went to this dude. He told me, like, that this was. He showed me like a painting about these guys who would do crusades to this island, and they had like a stronghold there, and we could go there, check it out, see if we can't find anything of use. So
Yeah, you know, that's real nice, but getting there is a little bit of a problem when we're being hunted right now.
well, that's why we should dip now when they still don't know where we are, and we can get out of the city and make like.
Mortanis, is it a closed alleyway? Sorry, guys.
Across, it leads further into the city. I can bring up a map.
Okay, so
real
it's not
quick.
closed at one end. They could get out the other end. Is all it was. Okay.
Let me remember how I display the map. Doot. I think.
And are you guys
Nope, not that
trying
one.
to hide right now, like from everyone, or?
Yeah, we're trying to blend in the crowd
Nope.
and hide.
Gotcha.
Nope, that's not it. Nope. Oh, that was it. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so this is the Saucy Rattler, and it does cover this entire corner over here. And right over here is this alley, and this is where they're leaning. Boop. I can't ping it because this isn't, Roll20. So yeah, they're right here watching, and the docks are just over here. So this is the front entrance along this alleyway over here, or this main street right here, let's say. So the front door is going to be right about, well, I guess dead center. How about that? Right about here. So they're watching from right there. Boom. Yes, so it does exit out on this street over there.
Am I able to spot the
That's the wrong
one
button again.
inside the bar?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Am I able to spot the my group inside the bar?
Yeah, easily enough. They're in the center of the room, and Anakai looks fairly frantic. So much so that actually, as a serving waitress, wanders on over and slaps down like a enormous bowl of bar peanuts in front. Presumably, he might freak or something because it's loud noises. Suddenly in front.
He just eats, turns around very quickly, hands on the dagger, sees who it is, and goes, "Thank you."
She gives you a very like thin smile, like, "Oh, good, it's going to be one of these shifts," type of a thing. And, "Oh, what's the matter, hon? You look like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking." And notices your ears, and notices, I mean, what's got you down, hon?
It was just a turn of phrase. It's okay. I get it. I'm part cat. I got it. You wouldn't happen to have a back door, would you?
Oh, it'd be in the back.
So okay, great. So you guys do have a back exit. Great. Hear about? I take these peanuts, I pick up the bowl, and I give her 5 gold pieces as you get us out the back door.
Jesus.
She stares at the 5 gold pieces that you've just dumped into her hands, looks at the peanuts, looks at the barkeep, looks down at you, and then the gold coins just vanish into her apron. Right this way. Please follow me, sir.
Hey, let's go, guys. Just hood drawn up, and I'm like following her very closely.
Do I wait? Can I do a perception check to notice Sophia?
I mean, I think she's fairly intimidating without a perception check. You know, the door opens up and the sun shines right through, and there's a choir of angels, and then you hear a voice that says, "Would you like a pamphlet?" I can't do the voice. So
I'm okay because I was just gonna say I'd like signal to her that like we're going out back. Like,
You look like you don't know your place. Here's a pamphlet to explain.
I'm going to imagine that Sophia actually, you know, I've seen these on the internet before, but people that pay with like fake $100 bills as tips, and then when you open it up, it's actually like a tract on the inside about Jesus. I'm imagining it's going to be exactly like that. You know, just be like, "Here's a tip for you: suck less at life," and then hand a pamphlet and leave. Then.
Oh yes, they're actually all trapped. If I hand you an item like a dagger or something, chances are within the hilt or some part of it will be a part of scripture from the Book of Azadl. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. But yes, you can see Sophia standing in the doorway.
Yes, and as he's signaling to me, I look at him and I shake my head and I do this.
Well, the waitress is already working her way towards the kitchen area and whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's alcohol storage facility room.
Cellar.
Yeah, probably.
Great.
I mean,
I'll go to Sophia. I just like I kind of do one of these, and I'm like, the scary lady wins, and I'm going that way.
I'm just going to say you guys have attracted a moderate, though not large, amount of attention from the other bar patrons who are finding that the doldrums of afternoon drinking are suddenly whisked away by some strange figures kind of frantically going to the table and then the door and, you know, let's get out of here, and frantic gesticulation and the cat jumping and everything. So nobody said anything. Nobody's like watching, obviously, but you can tell that a couple of eyes are on you at this point with mirth and glee on their faces. Like, get a load of this show. It's better than the last one.
Yeah, hey, you know, that's fine. You know, I like to entertain where I go, so it's fine.
No, if one of them is looking at me, I'll look dead at him and say, "Yes, can I help you?"
It's an older guy, portly stomach, you know, big suspenders that are stretching to the near point of breaking, with a big old, like, prospector's type of beard. And a very oversized, it's not a pint mug. It's going to be like a tall boy 22 type of a thing in one hand. Foaming up at the top. It's just, you know, the perfect head on that. And he smiles, holds up the glass and kind of a cheers. Nope, just enjoying the show today, sir, ma'am. I keep doing that. I can't keep everybody in the brain. I've only got room for like 3 things to remember at once. So, and 2 of them are breathing.
I think it just makes it funnier. It just
Breathing.
She's so intimidating. It's like, nothing to see here, sir. Ma'am, sir, ma'am,
Ma'am, sir. Ma'am, sir.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Yep, exactly. Those are the 2.
Like
Yep.
that. Well, he seems old and drunk. It's fine. So
Very
I just
drunk.
I turn my head and I look over at Uril. Where are you guys going? It appears that you've drawn some sort of attention in the front door, no doubt from some of your shenanigans, but we need the party to be together.
Right. Listen, those 3, they paid. Okay, I'm just gonna give her like a very like. I try to keep it condensed, but it's not. I'm just gonna tell her everything that's happened and just explain the whole situation.
You don't actually need to. As you start to mention it, the old guy who's holding up the beer, well, near as I can figure it, that cat over there and that, not sure what that is, points at Sam, they're being hunted, you see, and they're about to escape on yonder out the back over there. Do I got about the gist of it right there? They got something very valuable. They talk a lot.
I point at this man. He's got it. This dude gets it.
Yeah, he'll take a very hefty quaff of his oversized tankard. Well, you know, it pays to listen.
So you guys don't even stay hidden properly. Okay, yes. So there are 2 people in the back. Udalot is currently standing guard. Just one moment. Okay. I turn around and actually I look at the drunken man and I nod my head at him. He seems more adept than even the fools I'm traveling with. And I'll go up to the front door where Udalotza is and just kind of casually stand next to him, which is not something I'm very good at doing. I'm not a casual person. I'll look over at him and say, the others are escaping through the back. Do you wish to follow, or do you wish to greet these friends of ours who seem to be sitting inside of this alleyway?
This one can make them very warm.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Udalotza casts Create Bonfire on the spot. It's a 5-foot cube, so if I can get both of them
It's pretty easy
I'll
to
get
time
both
it
of them.
as the big dude is pacing back and forth, so that when they're basically directly adjacent, you can just hammer a fire down right between them.
Oh, I'd like to clarify, like, while there's that whole explanation, I was already going out the back door. I'm rolling stealth, and specifically, I'm climbing up to the roof.
Oh, okay. Well,
Classic cat.
you're going to have to go through the cellar first.
Oh, neat. We'll go down the cellar.
Give me a second. Create
So they make a
bonfire.
They have to make a DC 14 dex save. And we lost Sam.
Video.
You know, when you really think about it, the magic bonfire fills a 5-foot cube. That's an awful lot of fire when you get down to it. That's a lot.
Yeah,
5
it
foot
is.
by 5 foot by 5 foot just explodes into flames. You know? Yeah, that's not a campfire. That's a bonfire. That's definitely true. Okay,
Fire.
let's get some rolls from the bad guys first. From the big ol'. So how do the channel points work in here? As you accrue them, you can spend them on making things turn into 20s or 1s, depending. Also, you can name an NPC, and I've got 2 to work into in the near future. Don't I, people? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay, what was I rolling? First is Big Brick Boy.
Big boy.
I think a 13 is not going to be sufficient.
No.
And, oh, that's a nat 1.
Reality is often disappointing.
Oh, wait.
Why would you do that?
Oh, now a 20.
Which one's
Why
the
would you do
20
that?
for the DM?
Which one's the 20?
Why?
Because it's Bailey. I mean,
Brick Boy. Okay.
Bailey.
Look at that. That's the first person to use that in order to empower me. Yes.
And
Yes.
of course, it's Brick.
Anakai
Brick
is
is a
going to go
20.
kick someone repeatedly in the head, which is entirely unrelated to the moment at hand.
You motherfucker!
I need a technical difficulties overlay type of thing, you know.
I like that calming music.
Distant. Actually, it wasn't very distant. It wasn't very distant.
No,
at
I
all.
think his mic is on his headset or something, because
Wait, no, Palace is in the living room.
there was just that much power behind it that it picked it up that far away, huh?
No, Palace is in the living room. That's why he got picked up.
Oh,
It was
yes.
to his mind.
I blame Palace now.
Well, Bailey,
Palace.
In any case, yes, Big Fire Boy is no longer on fire. He dodges. I mean, just smooth moves, clean out of the. Well, actually, I think he takes half damage. Let me double check.
No, I think it's
Or
just
take. Oh nope, because it's a cantrip. Yeah, he takes nada points of damage, and immediately you can notice that. The little gnome. Oh my God! When you think about it, the gnome is completely engulfed in fire. I mean, gnomes are not 5 feet tall. You know, I mean, 1 second there's a gnome, a second there's just a blazing bonfire with a vague figure inside there. There's a shrill, high-pitched scream, and you see the figure dive out of the flames into the street, which is, of course, laden with mud and horse turds and stuff because, you know, it's a classic city, and it's not like they got sanitation or anything like that. So he throws himself flaming into the middle of the street. People start frantically running this way and that way because it's very unusual, even for Port City like this, for things to just explode into fire, let alone gnomes. Gnomes are not known for their flamboyant flamingness. So the dude throws himself out, and the big boy just kind of stares down at him. And even from across the street, kitty corner, you can just make a, "Hey, boss, you okay?" And he's rolling on the ground back and forth. And yeah.
I kind of like stare at Sophia and Urlota. Let's use this time to. Let's use the chaos to get away.
Well, the serving lady brings you guys down through the stairs into the cellar with all the wine stuff, and then at the far back, she moves a kind of a shelving unit that's attached on some hinges. It's not obviously meant to keep things very well hidden, but mostly just a convenience for space. And on the other side of that is a ladder that leads up to a trap door. Nothing locked, nothing frantic. It looks like they keep it open during days for people to go up and take their smoke breaks and stuff. But she gestures. There you go. Brings you out back. Cam's derp for so. Oh yeah, Axmew vanished again.
Yes, I'm looking over at Udalotsa and I see the small one lit on fire, and I just nod my head and I say, You're getting very good at that.
Thank you, loud friend.
And we will have to speak on that nickname, but for now, I believe that the best option would be to join the rest of these compatriots of ours.
I look up at Udalotsa and be like, I'm not going to be part of that ever, right? You're not going to ever put me on fire? We're cool, right?
This one will only burn those this one does not like.
Cool. Got it. Cool.
So I
Keep
just
that way.
pat Uriel's shoulder and say, "You're very close, friend. Very, very close."
Remember that time when you guys arrived at a town and then started killing people? And a guy was like, maybe we shouldn't kill people indiscriminately before we find out what their story is. You just lit a dude on fire across the street without ever talking to him. For all you know, maybe it was just some old lady hired a bounty hunter or private investigator to return an item to Anakai, and you just lit him on fire. Yeah.
And Anakai wasn't around to stop us.
Yes,
Nope.
you know what they say: when the angel on your shoulder is missing, the devil will play. So
Also, Udalotsa doesn't have morality very much, so to light that one on fire, okay. It's just,
Straightforward. Done.
This is why I've latched myself to Udalotsa. Udalotsa doesn't have morality right now. He's very moldable to
Yeah,
any situation.
there's a certain flexible morality involved in there. So nonetheless, you guys in the back managed to pile on out into an alley, and you hear a commotion out front, screaming gnome, people stampeding and yelling, the sound of bells distant as the town watch is raised. Ding, 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 ding.
We should probably go.
Udalotsa says, "Are we leaving or shall we burn more?"
No, leave is a good option.
Across
Yes,
the
I
way,
get
as
it.
the streets begin to clear away from the burning gnome, he's managed to put himself out, and the big boy picks him up like an adult picking up a child, like by the shoulders, straightens, picks him up, puts him down on his feet, dusts off the soot a little bit, and they start storming their way across the street towards the inn, now figuring that was most likely some sort of a diversion or subterfuge. So.
yes, right now would be a perfectly good time. And I look over to Uriel. Do you know the path? Quickly.
I assume they're just I'm just gonna walk around to the back where I saw them go out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys can reconnect in the back of the inn.
Yes.
At the back, and then sneak down a side alley. Anakai is sneaking, and is anyone else going to sneak, or are they just going to be themselves?
Yes, I don't sneak.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was gonna say I don't think they know. I don't think they are. They're only after Sam and Anakai, so I think I'm in the clear. So I'll just kind of go with the flow.
Okay.
Say Axie
This
probably
one
is
just
gonna
walks
sneak and doesn't wanna be
normally.
here. So
Okay.
someone might need to roll for her.
That I can do. Because I can literally roll for her. View. Click character sheet. Seriously, you're going to take this long to load? I don't have this time. Wow, she has a +7? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's pretty dang impressive, you ask me here. Normal roll. All right. She's hella sneaky.
She's sneaky.
Hella sneaky is yeah.
Sneaky little snake.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. Sneaky as a snake. All right, so which way are you guys going? I mean, most of you guys, at least some of you, have been to the city of Ansia before, especially Anakai and Sam. So you know that the northeast is where you guys came in from the water, and southwest leads out into the greater world and the continent and Republic of Rovala. That'd be the way to go if you want to take the road to Vilewater.
I mean, the safest place right now, especially since tomorrow we're supposed to have a meeting with the head of the Church of Voxna to gain assistance for the expedition into this divine vision and the staff and everything, would probably be just to head to the Church of Voxna to seek refuge. So that's where Anakai would be leading Sam.
Okay. Anyone else going with?
Yeah, the Udalotsa will just follow wherever Sophia and Uril are going.
Yes, and I'm completely unaware. I'm a pretty good fan of getting out of this situation. However, wherever we're deciding to go, last we spoke, we didn't have any sort of objective, and I was not with any of them when this decision was made to go to whatever town they're speaking about. So I'd like at least a moment to be able to figure out exactly what we're doing and why before we go off on yet another adventure off into wherever we're going.
Anakai will gladly explain when we get to the Church of Voxna.
We'll explain everything.
I have no qualms with that. I just motioned for them to lead the way.
Okay.
All right.
To the Church of
Since
Voxna.
they're not being hunted, yeah, I'm gonna be taking alleyway to alleyway, making sure that I'm just gonna keep like the sharpest of eyes out.
Okay.
Just walking down the street, just like. All right. Yeah. No. I'm just gonna act like we're just act like the crowd and get to the church.
All right, and it's going to look like Quasimodo. Sanctuary. Okay, to the Church of Voxna you go, which actually is all the way on the other side of town, near the Church of Hazadal. So, good area to go to. And it's also near the Glass and Brass Hall where you guys were just the other night. And there's another in there, the Cartographer, right next door. So,
well, every good church needs to have a chateau in which to overloom. So, I mean, it only makes sense that the Church of Voxna is just soaking up all the not sun there from the Church of Hazatl. But I'm just a fan of metaphors, so it's fine.
Okay. As noted previously, the Church of Voxna is kind of an open-air establishment with rooms across the street for administrative types of things. So are you going to the administrative side of things, or are you going to the open-air kind of semi-plaza where they do all of the good works and deeds?
To the administrative section.
Okay, right back into the building. Seems like we were only here not too long ago. Okay. Not a problem.
And once we're inside, I look over and I say, so now can we talk, or do we need to find some other place to hide? I don't think that we were followed, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you sure you weren't followed? Did you watch?
No, I don't care if we were followed or not, but you seemed pretty shifty with your eyes, so I assumed you kept a pretty decent lookout. And besides, I don't even know who we're running from. All I know is that you ran from us in a bit of a
Smiling
sprint.
Jonah.
Why exactly are we running from Smiling Jonah?
Someone stole half his beef jerky.
He may or may not know that we had possession of the staff.
And how exactly would he be privy to this information?
He happened to be at the local Adventurers Guild, and I was there seeking, help trying to find contract people to assist with going to find out more information on the staff, maybe hire some people to help out. And it turns out the person I was talking to was very good acquaintances with him.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. He's not exactly the type that I'm afraid of, but within this city we have no contacts, and for the most part I believe that haste is a bit more beneficial than sitting around and trying to settle every dispute that we might make. So while this location we're going, what is the name of this place again?
Mortanis, what is the name of the place we're going?
Vile water.
Vile water.
Everyone's
Vile water. So I'll explain what my knowledge gaining trip is, how the city would do raids to this city where we need to take the staff to, and how they had a stronghold in Vile water, and there should be people who know more about what we need to get out of there. Plus, it's just out of the city, so we get more information. we get one step closer to all of our goals, and we're also safe.
The only issue is Vile Water is a bit of a ways away from here. We're going to at least cross the Elven City through Stormhaven and then chart our way just around through the desert to get to Vile Water, if I'm right.
Yes, let me bring up the old map. So Ansia is up here. You would need to take the road on through to Silvercourt, the capital. Silvercourt, the capital of the Wood Elves. Stormhaven, the capital of the area. Vile Water down over here, half a continent away. It's a smallish continent, but still half a continent away.
What would Anakai know about Vile Water in general as a denizen who has traveled through the Republic of Ravala?
I would say you would never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious. It is the sort of place that is rife with thievery, both organized crime and non. It's a den of less reputables. A lot of drug trade comes out of there. I would have to make up some drugs to figure out what they would be doing. But it's a town on the trade path that leads further on into things, so it's not exactly lawless, but it's about just one step this side therein. So
honestly, it's a pretty nice place
for sure.
Yes. And wait, you said we'd have to cross through the desert in order to get there.
Yep,
Wow,
right here at it's actually at the start of what is the desert proper, but you're along the mountain range for it, so there's still a little bit of like scrub grass and the like. But yeah, once you get out of Turok here, it kind of starts turning into, a desert, and you'll need a horse. You can't name it though.
Oh God, my horse.
Yeah, you'll have to. Oh crap, the horse isn't even here.
Oh no, we were walking back with it. Now I remember.
Okay.
I took it to the
Yes, we had the horse. Yes.
So I assume Udalotza has the horse.
This one.
It's just bench pressed on his shoulders there.
This one has got
Found your horse.
Okay, excellent.
He still turns into a horse half the time just because, got to practice.
As long as Hubert's here, I don't care. Then we shall leave the Vile Water then.
That's the wrong button. That's a character.
Okay, yeah.
Like right away,
great.
because I think Anakai is still intent on sticking around.
Well, we should probably rest like one night. We've had at least one night here. Just there's no point in make sure we're all good. Because,
at this point, you've only been here for like 6 hours or so. It's half a day.
No, I don't. Yes, I don't mean out right now. I'm just simply saying I have no qualms. As long as this is a direct route towards the desert, then yes, Vile Water it is. So whatever we need to do and whatever things you need to plan out along the way, I would say that we are, for the most part, low on supplies for traveling. And while I do have Hubert here in order to transport some of our goods, it might be good to have some sort of provisions as we go along.
You already said you had Hubert here.
Oh, no, I don't want to eat him for provisions.
I've invented a device that allows you to take sliders from him without killing him.
Oh. Excellent.
The Office joke, people. Dwight invents a device that does. Anyway, it was him.
Here, I've already set up a meeting with the head deacon here.
Deaconess Novus.
Deaconess Novus. And she says she's more than willing to assist us, so I can probably ask her to send out some of the acolytes to gather for some provisions. If we turn in early, we can leave at the cover of darkness before the sun rises.
I have no problem with that. But before we all turn in for the night, if we have some sort of room or area in which we can share, there is something I'd like to discuss with the group. There's been some recent developments, and I realize that our last parting was a bit strained. So I'd like to be able to speak with everyone once we're all together and come to terms with how this group is to be assembled, if we are to have one. I'm assuming no one else has any other plans or anything else they wish to do.
Not a new.
Like I do have a dialogue that I want to do with Danzig, but that can wait until after this little intervention.
Oh no! By all means, go have it. Samara's been silent this whole time, so I might give her a moment to find her breath. So if you wish to speak, that's okay. I'm just going to go take care of Hubert. He's been carried by this large tree man this whole way, and so make sure he's okay.
Yeah, I'll go talk to the deaconess, and I'll be back. Just make yourselves comfortable. And if you see Smiling Jonah, I'm not here.
Good to know. Could I? Okay, I'll just wait for you to come back because I'll tell you like, hey, I have a question for you when you come back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So I'll just sit there and just like do. I'll take a look around.
Okay.
Because I've never, my character doesn't like. I think to myself, I don't think I've ever been in a church before.
Well, unfortunately, this part isn't exactly a church. The Church of Voxna here, like I said, across the street is what would have probably been a building at one point, but have been leveled on down to the foundation, and is now more of an open air plaza, so that there's a roof and pillars that support everything, and like the sort of thing you would see at like street vendors, except for it's people getting like soup kitchen type of stuff. They're making food. There's bedding. It's more of like a homeless shelter, except for very, very open aired, and the priests there spend their time working with locals and the like. And then you're in the administrative buildings, which is across the street, and is more of like an apartment complex that got turned into offices, and you're effectively in a waiting room there, the green room, where you're given cups of water and are basically told don't touch anything important. So you're not quite in a church, and even across the street isn't quite a traditional church. Voxna doesn't hold to the traditional, cathedral style buildings. Now, you want cathedral style, I'm sure Sophia would be like, all right, you got the Church of Azotl across about a block up.
Yes.
You want to see impressive? We got impressive.
Yes, I'm being very critical. So as I'm walking around and I see a surface, I'll just run a finger across it and wipe the dust off of it and sniff and just kind of make my way around. Clearly, it's not a Church of Hazatl. I mean, it's barely a stable for horses. But Hubert looks perfectly comfortable in here. And
in the green room?
I mean, never mind outside. He would look comfortable inside here. I keep forgetting Hubert is definitely not a party member. He can't just go in everywhere we go.
I mean, it's practically as useful as some people in the party from Sophia's point of view. So actually, a horse is more useful. Horses can do things. They can carry things and people. So
Hubert knows exactly his place in the universe. It's my favorite type of thing. But I'm just being critical and walking around and just surveying things with a bit of a disdainful look on my face, but I'm not trying to cause any ruckus or anything.
Okay.
Hello? Oh. Are you back?
There's dancing squares.
Oh.
Dancing squares.
Hey!
It says no internet secured, but I'm on the internet.
Yeah,
there it is.
No internet. Welcome back.
I'm Sophia again.
We have cameras.
I wanted to punch something. Oh, cool. Now I'm getting a spam call. Hold on.
I would call the internet and punch that.
Probably not
Hello?
us.
Hello.
Unmute your mic.
No, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. Screw you.
Well,
Yes.
Thank you for letting me do the mic.
Stop what you're doing. There's a burglar inside your house. I won't. They're like, no, please, God.
No, it's a student loan thing. I've been through it enough.
So to catch you up, we left the bar. You were very sneaky. Doodle lit a dude on fire, and now we're in the
Almost
administration
two.
building at the Church of Voxna, and we are currently planning on leaving out very early in the morning.
Why did we set a man on fire?
It's funny.
It's funny. It wasn't really a man. It was a dwarf.
It was a gnome.
It was a gnome. He got better.
Okay, but there's still a person.
Yeah, I pointed that out, but the morality is questionable at best. So.
Half lives matter. Anyway,
he was following us. He was being like shady. I don't know.
Okay.
You can't use
to needed target practice.
I will absolutely use your movement. We let that live.
I am totally going to remember that being shady is acceptable cause for setting someone on fire. You know how much easier that's going to make my life?
If I've learned anything from TTT and Gmod, that's absolutely acceptable.
This one did ask Loud Friend before setting small
That is true.
thing on
Well, yeah,
fire.
but
Loud
it's
friend, like,
Sophia.
you heard Loud Friend from like 3 rooms over. Stop calling me that. Why?
Yes, we will definitely need to discuss that nickname. I'm not a fan. And oh my god, do they not even sweep in this place? Jeez. And I just keep walking around. Not very happy.
The acolytes have been trained very well to not rise to the occasion, especially given the symbol that you're wearing there. But you can tell, fingers are being clenched into white-knuckled fists, not as in they want to punch you, but just like, give me the perseverance. And as the god of time, it's like, all things will pass, even this trial, literally standing 10 feet away from me. That type of a thing.
Yeah.
This
I have
too.
to imagine
this
one
one-
approaching her. Just like,
This one
"Hi,
wishes to
welcome
know.
the church. Can we help you?"
Hi,
Oh,
welcome to
never mind.
Chili's.
This one wishes to know what Loud Friend would like to be called.
And I'll come back over to Lutza. It's, for one, my name is Sophia. So, by all things, I wish to be referred to as that. And if not Sophia, something with a little less obnoxious connotation would be preferable. I don't see myself exactly as loud per se. I do vocalize quite well, and I am able to carry my voice in one might say a commanding manner. But loud is a bit I don't know, demeaning, I would say.
As a part-time and professional, somewhat published author, I'm going to suggest an alternative adjective to use here, and abrasive.
Blunty.
Abrasive would fit very well. It does not imply loudness, but it fits
Abrasive.
perfectly.
Meanwhile, like, she's like describing this, and I'm just like, I'm not facing her, so she can't see my face. I'm just like looking at like I don't know, painting on the wall. I'm just like, that's what she calls it these days. Okay, interesting.
This one will call you Sophia.
We have a breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen. We did it.
Tree has been
appreciate it.
trained
Actually,
to speak new words.
And yes, I mean that's just right. Yes, I prefer that. I mean, not as slowly as you said it. I think that would just waste a lot of time. But yes, Sophia would be perfect.
Cool. Yeah. Sam, where did you go? What are you doing in the church?
Sam probably would have just stuck by Anakai for the most part.
Okay.
And Anakai is going to go talk to the deaconess, and
She suddenly has
ask
no
her-
interest. I changed my mind.
yeah,
Okay, well, if you're still here, then I'm going
Yeah.
to. Hey, what do you know about? Let's say, because you and Anakai are treasure hunters, right?
Somewhat. It's more so him, and then I just happen to be there as well.
Okay. I guess. What would you know about like coded journals for like treasure hunters? Like, have you heard of that?
I
Wait.
believe most people have heard of anything coded. It's not a very far out thing to find something that's in a particular code if someone else doesn't want to read it.
But specifically for like coding like a treasure map, essentially.
I have no idea if Sam would have any clue what he's talking about, I'll be honest.
That's fair.
I'm actually not sure if she would really know anything.
Hopefully he is. That's fair.
2.5.
2.5. I love
Well,
that.
the 0.5 was technically Danzik's word. It was just, came through his mic.
A
So
very loud word.
yeah.
It was like, because the issue I'm having here is that this journal of my father's is hopelessly coded, and the only way I'm going to find it is apparently from the cartographer that I went to go see. I need to have another physical book and a physical key and what was the other thing? I wrote it.
That was basically it. You just need to know what the location of the cipher in the book would be.
Yeah, I
So
need to go
usually
find
they memorize that one, like page 39, word 7. So
Right.
the book
I
is
need to-
usually something that's available easily from anywhere, any library that they could just grab it, since, in this time it's not like there's going to be printing presses and stuff, but, everything would have been hand copied and done in the exact same fashion because most scribes weren't literate and stuff. So as long as you can figure out what the book is and what page number and word, and then find the key. And to kind of better describe the key, like in the Goonies, the one-eyed Willie key had the eyes, and they hold it up and they look at the thing, and then later on they put it on. There's different holes, and they find the one that matches. Imagine that instead of the holes, they put it in the book on that particular page, and what it lines up tells them what the deciphering is, kind of. So
Okay. So yeah, just basically I just need to find a decoder, and it's
your Captain Crunch decoder ring in a book.
Yeah, and I need to I need to find the decoder, and the only way I'm going to find the decoder is in this book. That I need a decoder from the decoder in the book. That it's a loophole. It's madness, and I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Madness. This is Sparta. Anyway, I don't have the gravitas when I say that. I would need to switch to.
Oh, this is Sparta.
Oh God! Can you imagine if freaking was it Gerald Butler that played
Jerry Butler? Yep.
Gerald, yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine if he had that voice when he's like, "This is Sparta," but instead of that, it's "This is Sparta."
I'm a big fan that
It kind
if
of slightly kicks him.
the way that Hollywood's going to come back after the virus is that they're just going to, instead of making new movies, just redub every old movie with Gilbert Gottfried. Because tell me you wouldn't pay to go watch classic movies voiced by Gilbert Gottfried. I would pay serious amounts of money.
I've watched 50 Shades of Grey being narrated by Gilbert Gottfried at least 37 times. So I mean,
say hello to my little friend.
I would pay so much money to go back through Braveheart, but Gilbert Gottfried is, Scottish hero, William Wallace.
Georgie, you want a balloon?
Okay, that would. I'm gonna have to make that into a voice clip to put on the replay button here. That's going to be our new Nat 1 sound instead of Thanos.
You want a balloon? That's fantastic.
Okay, well, you've got a continue.
Well then, so yeah. So I'm just explaining this to Sam, and I realized as I keep talking, I'm like, I'm sorry, I sound insane. I'll just shut up now.
Sam's just gonna kind of lightly pat him on the back and just, maybe that would be a better question for Anakai as opposed to me.
Sam is just so used to consoling people by scratching him behind the ear because it's Anakai that doesn't realize that it's, someone else. Oh, real, just a little scratch behind the ear. Oh, yeah. Crap. Sorry. I get so hung up on that.
I just kind of stare at you as you scratch behind my ear. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, she definitely patted him on the back.
That
was a joke. The ear thing was a joke.
Yeah, that was me going further, but the patting does kind of.
Okay. I thought, never mind. I spaced out for a moment.
Yeah, the DM is not narrating what's happening there. I'm not that type.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. I'll just say thanks. Sorry.
Give everyone a second. Pallas, try talking so we can check your volume.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, as I forgot, I had my old headphones was a pair of headset was a pair of Razer Tiamats, and they've just been sitting in my living room. And I forgot that I had them, so
there you go.
Went and got them set up with that.
Nice.
Yep. So I should
nice.
pick up nearly as much now.
Yay! Now you can speak more than 2.5 words.
Yeah.
You can get 3.
Good, perfect, because Udalotz is gonna go over to Aeolus and talk with him.
Cool. So I'm most likely leaning. So I'm most likely leaning against a wall, just watching everybody. Just I could say people watching, I guess.
Okay. Why don't you give me a perception check, please, Mr. Aeolus?
Sure.
And Mortanis, in the spirit of keeping things moving quite along, does the deaconess go and send out acolytes to try and get enough provisions for them to leave in the morning?
Yes, you guys will be able to
Awesome.
get a decent amount of rations, water, anything that's basic type of stuff, as well as everybody is going to get a healing potion in the 2d4 plus 2 variety provided to them, and let's say 200 gold as provisionary stipend, I guess would be a good kind of thing. 14. Okay, you don't notice anything unusual in the crowd that's passing on by, given that this is the religious district and all of the churches, what being they are, Hazadal's the largest church, of course, but as I mentioned previously, like some of the other churches, especially the minor gods aren't so much as buildings, so much as like shrines where people passing along the way can drop coins or burn incense and offer a little prayer, maybe drop a bit of food or cheese or something along the line. I just implied food and cheese are two different things, but you get what I'm talking about, right? So it's a fairly busy district, and as the masses of teeming people wash through the arteries of the city, nothing really catches your eye. You're not seeing any sign of Big Boy or little burned gnome whatsoever, nor Smiling Jonah. So far, so good. And everybody remember to write down this is the internet. Add to your character sheet 1 healing potion.
Whoa, da.
Anakai is holding on to all 200 gold pieces.
That makes sense.
Wait, everyone gets a healing potion?
Everybody gets a 2d4 plus 2 healing potion, yes.
Oh, jeezums.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even in this campaign, you guys are probably going to need them because the healer doesn't heal actively, freely, openly.
She does.
The healer.
I
actively heal.
If you're
I actually have
useful.
cure wounds.
Well, everyone's proven useful in some degree, so I'm sure she'll be happy to heal us as long as we keep, being useful.
Oh shoot, that's my second healing potion. I have a healing potion. When did I get another healing potion?
And actually, that is what I wish to speak to, is the whole group together.
You still have access to the green room at this point. I mean, there are, let's say that there's, call it emergency penitent cells or refugee rooms where dignitaries can stay. But because this is not a fancy church like Hazadal, I'm going to keep drumming that drum. It's weird. There are rooms that are basically like cots. You can sleep on in there.
As long as we have a private room that all of us can fit inside of, I would wish for our plans not to be overheard by some drunken old man at a bar who clearly knows all of our plans, because some do not know how to speak with a modicum of silence. Even this loud one knows how to do that.
Ooh, burn. Wait, there's an emote for that. Now that's completely different.
That's not the one I wanted.
So, Udalotsa is gonna walk over to Iolus and say, "Elf friend,
Hello.
you are
Howdy ho, neighbor.
Here or from the mainland with the other elves?"
I am from the mainland. My con is from this general area, but I grew up in the mainland.
So you are near your ancestral.
I am.
Do you have any ties to this land?
Only a couple of things within our culture that I took in within the last few years.
Your ancestors treated this land well. I hope you will do the same.
It treats me no ill will, so I don't have any reason to treat it otherwise.
This pleases this one. And Udalotsa just walks away.
I'm glad we had this talk.
I also just like, I'm sorry.
I'm just like, it was just probably just like, well, that was interesting.
Yeah, but Udalotsa just leveled up. There was an vague implied threat in there. So, Udalotes is learning how to drop a little bit of "I will kick your ass if you don't do things the right way" type of a thing there.
I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him.
And believe it or not, in between everything, he always caught it. But like he said, if what is the earth gonna do to him? So he has no reason to harm it. So
I just imagine like you see like Ulril like not like intentionally like harming the ground, but like he's like about to go do something, and then you just like I always just like slaps me in the back of the head like, don't let him see you, stop it, stop. He's crazy.
You're going to be around a campfire and everybody's getting ready to lay down for the evening, and you're working on roasting some marshmallows or hot dogs over the fire, and the tree man slaps you in the back of the head. Would you like me to roast food over with the bones of your flesh too? Sorry, sir. I didn't.
Yeah, but I still remember like me and when me and Sophia had that like moment. He's like, "Do you wish to?" Like when he like brought up that we were like floating in his boat, and me and Sophia were both like, "I ain't fair." You right?
That's
right.
It actually would be pretty funny if Udalotsa doesn't get the distinction from that, and it just at some point in the distant future, when you guys are roasting hot dogs over a fire, he does produce a femur from a backpack and starts roasting something. He's like, what? How? Where?
Straight up, I wouldn't question it. I'd just stare and be like, I've seen worse. Like I've seen worse.
If during this campaign we don't find ourselves in some sort of necropolis where we have to create a boat out of bodies, I'm gonna be so mad. Like,
I will lash to
everything out of bodies, and Udalote is just sitting there like.
Yeah. Okay. The only way we're going to get out of this situation, people, is if we lash together the bodies of our friends into a raft, and just in the background, Udalotsa, this is the moment that I was made for. The circle is now complete.
This one is pleased.
Is Udalosa on top of the raft, just in Captain Morgan pose?
No, Udalotsa is on top of the raft, finally able to cast wind and save everybody. And then a dragon comes and destroys the raft. Circle is super complete. Eats the raft, actually, I guess. Okay.
Oh, God. Anyways, sidetrack over.
Is there any further discussion that needs to happen before you guys set out? Because otherwise, I think you guys are pretty good on the ration stuff.
Well, Sophia wants to have
the big powwow. Okay.
Yes,
The powwow.
powwow. So everyone is within this room, correct?
Yes.
Good. It comes to me that we had a bit of a disagreement upon the ship and later on about the cohesion of this group. Not only the cohesion, but also the leadership was put into question. I see now that this is understandable. However, I have prayed to my God, and I have been given some insight on the matter. And I will say that perhaps I have been abrasive unnecessarily at some times. And while I do speak truth and some of you just can't accept it, I will concede that some of my methods might look a bit questionable. So I have made a decision, and you'll watch as she reaches and she grabs the symbol on her chest. If you find yourselves unable to trust my intentions, then I will make them clear for you all. And she's going to close her eyes and focus for a moment, and you hear her mumbling a little bit under her breath. And as she opens her eyes again, she says, "My name is Sophia Asala. I am a cleric within the Church of Hazatl, member of Heaven's Punishers. My power flows from Hazatl, god of order and truth. From within this place, no lies are permitted, no perversion of his divine order. And I'd like to cast Zone of Truth.
Okay.
And from around her, you watch as a large dome. I'm not exactly sure how large this room is, but a sphere should be, I'm the center point, and it should encapsulate everyone within the room.
That's easy enough. No problem there.
So is this
And-
like the lasso of truth? Like we gotta like.
Well, and as I'm...
Oh, someone beat me to it.
Oh, I apologize. No, yeah, you're good. I was just going to say, I'll open up my eyes and I'll look at all of you and say, from within this place, no lies can be spoken. You can choose to resist this effect. However, I will be made aware. It is your choice, but know that while you stand within here and while you speak, no one will be permitted to speak falsehoods. And in this way, you should be able to trust my intentions. If you wish to stay within this sphere, you may. If you wish to leave, so be it. I will not force your hand. But if truth and honesty is something that you desire, then I will speak clearly so that you understand my intentions.
Like in my head, I'm just like, this is the closest I'm getting to an apology all trip. So
Yeah. Especially from Sophia.
I'm like, you had my what is it? You had my curiosity. Yeah, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
I thought you were going to say you have my balls, now you have my attention.
I'm imagining that since this is a 60-foot, that it far extends beyond the room, and distantly you can just hear...
It's only a 15-foot sphere.
Oh, okay. Well, still, outside the room you can hear an acolyte. Actually, I hate your mom's cooking. Oh my God, why did I say that?
Yeah, we're causing so much so many truths are coming out. Like you just hear like another one's like, actually, I don't love you. What? Just like
I actually personally favor Hazatl. Blasphemy!
Yeah.
This church sucks.
What a new god!
So basically, everyone within the sphere, you can try to make a saving throw against this if you are unwilling. However, I will be made aware if you try to resist this. You can. I will just be made aware of it.
Isn't it just you only know if they fail or succeed?
You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. An affected creature is also aware of the spell and thus can avoid answering questions that they would normally respond with lies. So Sophia will know if anyone attempts to break the spell.
Gotcha. Yes, yeah, won't try.
Yeah,
and we'll know if they succeed or fail also at it. So
yeah.
This one only speaks in truths.
I don't.
That was a lie. You explode.
Yes, and if you actually just can't speak a lie, so the words won't come out. But I will look at everyone in the group and I will say, you have questioned my leadership. I believe that I am the most fit leader of this group. I've witnessed all of your skills, and while they are diverse in their utility, I've seen none that I would trust above my own. However, I will tell you this. You are part of this group now, my group. While you are within my group, I will not let you fall. If there is a time in which your life is in danger, I will work towards to rectify that situation. I will not leave you like detritus on a ship. We are set for a goal that was revealed to me by my God, and I know for sure. I do not know what this goal is, but I do know that we have to accomplish it together. So, I wish for all of you to trust in my instincts and trust my God to lead this to this place, even if you do not believe in him. And I'll look over at the staff that I'm assuming Udalotsa is still holding, or did you put that away?
Boy, I hope so.
It's like slung on Udalot's back.
I look over at the staff. That staff there, I don't know much about it, but I had a vision of all of us together with that staff within some place in the desert.
This one prefers to be called Udalotza, not Staff.
Ooh, look at that. Tree's getting a little attitude.
I just
Tree
like,
is learning.
Like this is like all serious, like a serious moment, and that just comes out, and we're all just like.
And as he speaks, I simply look at him and I say, "Then you will be known as Udalotza." And I'm about to say something, and then my voice hitches in my throat, and I smile and I say, "But that item should be wielded by all of us in some area I believe is towards this desert. I don't know about this vile water, but I do know that if it's going towards a desert, then that is our ultimate goal. If any wish to speak against this, please do so."
This one's goal is different.
Do you wish to not join us? Or what
This
is your goal?
one will follow, but this one's goal is to speak with gods and end the age of humans.
Whoops. I'm not supposed to laugh at that as the DM. Hold on, let me mute myself.
And I look over at Udalotza, and okay, it is the zone of truth.
All right, well, I did do this.
Very well. That is interesting.
Is that the word we're choosing for that?
Well, he speaks of truth, and if it is within his power to end the age of humanity, I mean, that follows within truth and order. I see no problem with that at all.
I just
Hey,
like,
if he's strong enough to do it, more power to him.
just like, hey, Udalotza, can I like listen? You said as long as I don't piss you off, can I be like your right hand man or something? I don't want to die.
You are elf. You are not human.
My man, I dig it. I'm fine.
So yeah, then I will stress one more time. Sophia, you're human.
Yes, I am. And if I had any sort of doubt that Udalotza would be the one to fell me, then I would have any sort of fear. But I don't. I believe that our goals are more aligned than any of us understand as of yet. That information is usually given to us by some other power, just as that same power brought us all together. If the end of humanity is what is wished by the universe, then I am not one to stand against it. But stand against it I will, and if my power is not strong enough, then that is the will of Hazatl.
Now we're just going to have the DM put a check mark in this conversation to remind people about these words when it comes up again in 5 to 6 levels. Just putting it out there.
As the world burns and I'm like bleeding, I'm like, I hate you.
So I'm guessing which one of you gets to be Ren, which one of you gets to be Pancake Boy in this situation, because it's interesting that you've chosen that you want to burn all humans, and we'll see how that plays out, because it's interesting, very interesting. I'm not saying okay, continue.
I look over at the others, the ones who have had been less vocal. Actually, no, I look over at Anakai. Anakai, you're also not human. I don't know why this would affect you at all.
I mean, I feel pretty human except for a few traits.
Yes, but you also don't look human except for a few traits.
Also, I mean, I don't mean to speak for Udalotza, but I'm pretty sure he likes you, so it really wouldn't matter.
Well, to be fair, though, to that extent, humans are not the only ones who, at least presumably, this is about the tree thing. Humans are most certainly not the only race to go about and utilize things in nature.
Humans made great pain for this one. Humans must suffer great pain in return.
many plants also make humans suffer great pain. I don't quite see your point.
This one was burned by the humans when they came to the land from which they did not originate. This one must make humans leave and restore the land to that which it was when this one ruled the trees.
Then by all means, make those humans suffer. But at least to me, you're not much better if you're saying eradicate all humans because of what a select few did. That just seems illogical, and at least from what I've seen, I figured you were smarter than
Well,
This one does not wish to kill all humans. This one wishes to end the age of humanity.
See, you haven't really done anything to improve my point, but sure, by all means.
well, if you're so vocal about other people's goals, then Samara, are you within this group? Are you joining with us? Or do you have anything you'd like to share with the band of us about your own purpose here?
Oh, that's cute. You think I've actually thought ahead enough to know what my purpose is. That's very cute. Unlike most people, I don't really follow any particular god, so I'm just going with whatever seems to interest me. And at the moment, I'm not quite into the idea of following someone who has the intention of killing off humanity. Because some humans are very fun to toy with and mess with. Some people, rather, not just humans. Misspoke a little there.
Well, then we can just agree to, and then I sit there and I'm silent.
It's like the second time, yeah. I've been noticing it.
Well, if that is his goal, or its goal, if that is Udalotsa's goal, then that is his plan. I cannot change his path, no more than I can change any person's path that is not willing. But that is neither now nor, I would hope, in the near future. This power that brought us together, it brought us to this desert, this now. We can deal with whatever's happening later on, but I have been shown by my god that we are all standing there, all with the staff. I don't know why, but I will not go against Hazatl. I will not go against the divine order of this place. So, I need to know, are you with this group?
For the time being, until that happens. However, I've never been a fan of leaving things to the last second. For most cases, it's better to... I can't think of a better phrase. Cut out the root of a problem before it spirals into something bigger than anyone can handle.
Poor word choice of the tree person.
Oh, definitely. Oh, trust me, it was not poor.
It wasn't poor at all.
Okay. Well, in that case, and I just look over at Aeolus and Anakai and Uril, really, just gauging their responses. And as I'm aware, nobody tried to resist this spell, correct?
Ain't nobody rolled.
All right, good, perfect. I just want to make sure.
I got glitter on my hand somehow. This is never coming off.
I just kind of like, I'm kind of looking around the room and I'm just like,
oh god, it's on my shorts. Where did this come
I'm
from?
really comfortable going with you.
You literally would not be able to have said that.
you literally cannot speak an untruth. So do you wanna actually no, I know that you resisted it. The moment you resist it, I look at you and I just look at you. And I also know that you failed. So that's one thing. But the simple fact that you resisted it, I put that in the back of my mind in the book of Sophia.
Does that go above or below stabbed with dagger in Chestel region. Is this like a
and
graver sin than killing you or not?
Oh, by all means. The nature of a scared cat is to throw a dagger. I put that
All
as the
right,
nature and the
hang on,
order of
hang
things.
on. I am so upset right now. So I clicked the Dex thing, so it rolled on the Beyond on D&D Beyond, and then
It got a lot higher, didn't it?
no, it rolled it. The one roll in D&D Beyond was an 18, and then it came out as an 8.
Oh,
I don't know
unfortunately, it looks like Hazardl has spoken. Unfortunately, within the shitty church of Voxna, I guess things just don't go your way.
Well, no, at this point, he was going to open his mouth like that, just like this him testing out the circle, and he's opening his mouth to say it. That was his bow, his point. Why else would he blatantly be like, I would love to go with you?
Just tasting it in the mouth.
Spell. Yeah, I can't even be facetious at this spell, apparently.
No, Hazardl is not one for sarcasm.
And neither is most of your entire order.
I just nod my head. Yes, I agree. I'm usually the one with the more personality of the groups when we are together within Heaven's Punishers, but that is just my opinion.
I hope that's not true.
Oh, but it is because I'm speaking.
Okay, yes.
And I guess I have to make it canon now, so that would be awkward, but whatever.
It's your truth.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Danzig brings up a point. Your truth, you are speaking what you think is true. It doesn't make it true.
Yeah,
It
I
just-
know. Oh
okay.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not like divine truth because this would just be like divinity. Like you just cast this spell and be like sitting there and like the world will end in 15 days. Oh God, I said it. You know, and like freak
Yeah.
out. Like it's personal truth.
That's canon now.
Sheet of followers.
Oh, no. We keep logging on. There's a clock.
Much better personalities than you personally, but that's in page 4 of 700.
I just
And-
kind of look at like, I stare at Sophia dead on. I'm like, look, you know that I'm not a religious man. You know that I don't necessarily find this stuff to be I don't know, it doesn't interest me. However, after my spout with information and this run-in with Jonah, this staff that doesn't seem to, there's definitely more than coincidence at play here. And I would be a fool to say that it is not divine intervention. I don't think we really have a choice one way or the other, at least for the near future, to cooperate with each other. This does not mean that after this task is done, that we are all still forced to be with each other. We could all disband and be on our merry ways afterwards if we really distaste each other. But we just gotta suck it up. That's all I'm saying is we gotta suck it up. Well, if Udalotsa wants to, 20 years down the line, come back and murder us all for killing the trees, I'm not gonna stop him. If Sophia want to come back 20 years later and turn us all into Hazardl followers, that's again not gonna stop you. I don't care. I just want this staff figured out. The sooner it's out of our possession, the better.
This one can just give it to someone and it will be out of our possession.
Well, yeah, but in proper hands, out of our possession, not just any Joe Schmo off the. Make sure the proper tasks are done.
You heard it here first. Orwell Belkis supports genocide as long as he gets what he wants first. That's a campaign slogan you can bank on.
As long as I'm not dead, I ain't got problems.
Zone of truth. Yeah. And I look over, and Aeolus, you've been particularly silent.
I don't have any it's in my head. I'm trying to figure out how to say it now. I will follow whoever, so long as I can eventually meet my own goals as well.
Yeah, but I know what those goals are, so I get a chuckle out of it.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Very well then. Then it seems for the time being that we are. It appears for the time being that we are a group. I say again, if you do not trust my intentions, then I will tell you this. I, from now on, will not lie to any of you. Do you understand me?
Yes.
I wanted to say no to be sassy, but I can't say no.
You're just like, you're just like,
I
You can only make one saving throw. You're done. You don't keep making it. You made one. As long as you stand inside, that's it.
I really like you.
Well, I dub thee the Fellowship of the Stick. No, wait. What's better than stick? Staff? No. Thing. Fellowship of the Thing.
In that case, and I will take my hand away from my symbol, and the dome around us vanishes.
Do we feel anything? Does it like? Do we feel like?
Oh,
Yeah,
you can just speak lies now. Yeah, you.
Testing. Sam, I really like it when you scratch behind my ear. Okay, yeah, okay. It's working.
Sam's gonna immediately scratch behind his ears.
No.
Thumbs up.
All right, so just to recap, everybody's cool with sticking around, though not necessarily with all of the goals that are stated, but for the short term, figuring out what's going on that brought you guys together, and the whole mystery of the city of Hamatorap is at least holding people in a least loose, cohesive fashion. And I'm pretty sure at this point, Ulril has spilled all the beans about his discovery and vile water, so everybody's more or less on board that that's going to be the next stop, heading west towards the deserty area, and that figuring out Hamatorap via that route is probably conducive to everybody's goals, minus maybe the genocide one, and it's hard to tell. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I'm just happy Anakai got through without actually admitting anything. He didn't open it. He wasn't honest about his goals. He just said nothing.
Anyways,
So
I think we stay the night and then hit the road in the morning.
okay, the night passes uneventfully. No one gets shanked or
This
bounty
one
hunted.
would appreciate it if you did not hit the road.
Well, it's a stone road, you know. It's
I kind of stare. I'm like, listen, we got to talk about these.
nothing could go over my head. I would catch it. Yeah.
If I stand still, you can't see me. I am invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I will say in the night, Anakai visits Sam and vents about his actual feelings towards everything.
Ouch.
Right now, he really doesn't want to go on this. He thinks this is way above his pay grade. If he doesn't even get paid that much, it's above his head. This is above him. He's just a poor orphan who probably shouldn't even still be in the world.
He's a
And then
poor boy from a poor family.
yes, I don't even have a family.
Spare him this life.
And then not even reluctantly, because it's in private, like give in and just like kind of lay his head on her lap and let her scratch his ears without fighting her for once. Because it feels really good, but it's only in private.
She's gonna do that on top of also just running like but I want to say this right now. We are not getting into another 10-minute discussion about how nice it feels to have nails through your hair. We've done that once already. We're not doing in a different campaign. We're not doing it again. But stop, Zach. She's I regret saying anything.
I just want to throw out on record. I'm wildly uncomfortable, but proceed.
This doesn't make me feel good. Clicks link.
No, Sam's mostly gonna agree. Very gently remind him that he was just paid 200 gold, and that where he came from doesn't necessarily mean that he's not destined for greater things, and doesn't mean that he can't accomplish something that he hasn't yet.
Insert Shia LaBeouf.
Really don't want
Just
to
do it.
though. And the 200 gold is supposed to be for all of us, but I'm hanging on to it.
And to be fair, I don't think everybody probably would have been in the same meeting with the deaconess, ergo, unless
No,
he
but
divulged it.
That was also just me assuming he told Sam.
Oh yeah, just Sam.
Oh,
no
okay.
one else.
As long as Sam
I
does
was
know.
gonna
Yeah.
say, like, Sam's just gonna kind of shrug and just, well, if you ever want to, technically speaking, we could leave. It's very simple. But you have to admit, it's rather odd, and if something is supposed to happen, I'd rather not keep having weird dreams until that happens. I used to dream of very nice things, and now occasionally they're interrupted.
What do Yanti dream about?
Mice?
Less about Yuan Ti and more about other interests, but I'll let you figure that out for yourself.
It's not about Yanti, it's about you on me. Okay, we get it, Sam.
Did he actually say that?
No, that
Okay,
was
I was gonna
what
say.
expected you to say.
In any
Remember when
case,
Morse code comes out.
morning.
So much
It is morning now. We are moratoriuming this
The
conversation.
plan was to leave before the sun rose, so it's like I don't know, like maybe an hour.
I don't
too
know, man. Or you
shy
could just,
in the
or you could
morning.
just snuggle bug with Sam for a bit.
The last thing he'll say to her is just like, "You, this doesn't leave this room."
Sam will just kind of nod and just, if you ever want to save some money, by all means, you can bed with me.
Or if you want to lose someone in a outside.
I was really running back to say that.
There was this very like happy like silence, and then Jack just like,
I'm gonna make the joke. I saw Danzig holding back, and then Zach just exists.
Sorry. There's like 2 or 3 of those in that last like conversation. I held my tongue, but I refused on that last one. But whatever.
It just you can't keep it.
It's the morning. It's the morning.
It's the morning.
It's the morning.
It's still dark. Anakai's knocking at everyone's doors, and ushering them to let's leave now.
Mortanis, even though
Yes.
we're early in the morning, isn't assumed that we got a long rest.
Yeah. All hit points,
Okay.
all spells, all doodads regenerated.
it's like way too early for Aurora, and he's just like walks to the door, and is like, "Hi, nah," and then he like say like it's time to go. Just like go back, grab his things, and just slowly walks out. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say if you fell back asleep, I would have gone and get a bucket of ice and dumped it on you.
Yeah, they have
No.
ice in the middle of the Middle Ages, effectively.
Yeah, it's in the
Well,
freezer.
actually, they have
Is it-
clerics.
is
I'm
it-
sure there's probably like condensate water level 1, manifest 1d4 pounds of ice. That would actually be a lot of ice when you think about it, though.
Wow.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
ice.
Enough
That's a
to
lot
fill
of
a
ice.
bucket and pour it on somebody.
either way, I'm up. Ish. Like
Yeah, Sam will wake up with no problem.
Yes, and I will as well. And I'll just make sure that wherever we go, before we went to sleep, I made sure that Hubert had he had somewhere to be hitched up. But I'll make sure to grab him before we leave anywhere.
I love the like your love for that horse is just like everyone is like keeping a mental note of like this is all facade. You're not as hard as you say you are.
Listen, I'm not going to leave a perfectly good pack horse for whoever decides to grab them. What was I going to do? Leave him on top of that mountain so Jonah could make jerky out of him? I don't think so. No, he's coming with me. He's
It's
now my
inefficient.
property.
It's inefficient.
Yeah, it's inefficient.
I'm sorry. You're saying that the horse is inefficient?
No,
No,
leaving the horse.
is inefficient.
Oh yes, quite inefficient. I agree. And plus, there's
The
giant
Deaconess
mosquitoes.
Novus provide horses for us to ride.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Let me double check how much a horse costs just before I agree to that sort of thing. Do I just type in horse into D&D Beyond? Riding horse. Okay, that's a monster. Wow, that thing could just really screw you guys up. I mean, damn.
Was
Some
it
of
like a
you.
mimic horse?
Riding horse equipment. There we go. 75 gold pieces. No, you may not have more than 2 horses. 2 horses. You're gonna have to double up.
Yes, I'm sure everyone will have fun doubling up upon their horses, and I just simply get on Hubert because I was the smart one and actually had a horse provided for myself.
Yeah, you joke about that, but about level 15 or so, you're gonna find all of you on Vormir, and you have to get the soul stone, a soul for a soul, and you have to kill something you love, and you have to push a horse off a cliff in order to progress the plot.
Yeah, well, like I look at, I'll be like, Udalotsa, just distract Sophia, like take her away. And I'm like, guys, we gotta go push this thing off that. Put it off that.
Dude, are you kidding me? By level 15, Hubert's gonna be able to take all of you.
Yeah.
And then Sophia comes back around the corner. Is like, "Where's Hubert?" And we're like, "Dude, like, you just saw a carrot. Fucking, you just jumped off the. Sorry, you just jumped off the. edge.
Don't even know how it happened. I mean, the horse just went ET over the edge, and
You just have your soul stone walk away. I just weep.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to work that in so that you have to sacrifice that which is most dear in order to progress the plot line at some point, just to see what happens.
Y'all are gonna get real messed up when I hold like a dagger to Anakai's throat, and I'm like, I'm sorry, and everyone's like, what? Anakai's like, what? And I just slit his throat. I'm just weeping, and everyone's like, no, it's all coming.
Full
It's very
episode
funny
3. You
to
are
think
my brother, Anakai.
It's very funny to think that Anakai would let you anywhere near him with any kind of ill intent.
Listen, you wouldn't even
You would
know
have a dagger in your chest so fast.
and that's what it'd be like. That like it'd be like for old time's sake. Like he'd throw the dagger, and I'd be like, oh, you remember? As he just starts slitting his throat.
It gets like weirdly sentimental. It's like
you keep doing damage. I'm like, I know you show you care.
Yeah.
It's just like try to kill him.
When eventually we come to this point, I'm gonna have to edit the VOD with Enya. You know, the only time that sad music that hauntingly plays in the background is, you know, slow motion shots of stab, death. Yeah. All right. So you guys are going to head on out of town through the only gate that heads further in. I mean, you're on a peninsula. There's water on 3/4 of the way around you, and then a road on out. So let's bring up the old map once again, which I have to do, not you, which is that one.
road again.
So
zoom
just
in.
question: if we have 2 horses, which means Hubert is the third, and we're doubling up, that does leave one person without a horse.
Yes, it does, unless someone wants to turn into a horse.
I'll say,
Wait, does it?
Udalotsa,
Yep. Blarg has his own horse. There are 2 other horses, and there are 5 other people.
Oh, I thought we were doubling it up on all the horses.
But you think that,
Well,
but that's not what.
Let alone Sophia letting someone ride on Hubert. You think anyone wants to ride with Sophia?
No. Hold on. I've got
There's
this.
2 church horses, and then there's Hubert, which is a party member at this point. So
Sam,
I'm getting commissioned art.
Sam is gonna bring up to Sophia that it would be extremely inefficient to make one person walk and slow them down.
I completely
Udalotsa
agree.
says
And
that is not a problem.
checkmate, atheists.
This one can keep up and changes to a horse.
Can you only do that for an hour though?
How long does that last again? Well, you can.
An hour, I can do it twice. So less
2 hours.
than an hour, and I can do it twice.
How long is this horse ride?
Days.
Yeah. Sam's just gonna smile sweetly up its fine and just. Well, if that's the case, and we both find that inefficient, would you mind if I shared a ride with you?
Yes, if you look at me, I'm actually just looking at Udalotsa horse, and I'm just staring as he transformed them. Yes. What? Yes. I see no problem in that.
Does Anakai voice this problem?
And I look over at Anakai. You're perfectly fine to walk if you have an issue.
No. I'm on this horse. Yeah, I just doubling up is efficient. I just don't want to be. Just kind of looks around to every single one of you and hangs his head. And he's like, "Oh no."
Like, hey, I mean, like, it's like, to be fair, Iolaus is probably the best of the three options left.
Treeman has taken quite a shining to you and various other cats.
His name is Udalotsa.
Fair enough. My apologies. Udalotsa.
Don't leave me.
Udalotsa, when he's in, starts like trotting down the trail because we got to get a move on.
Yeah. So it is 3 days to Silver Court. Based
we
off
stop
of this.
1 hour for every 2 I can stay a horse.
Now, I'm not going to be, we're going to fast travel the system here unless there's something that intervenes in the way. We're not going to, go through each day and each moment as we did when we were going overland on the island as far as things go. But yeah, it's going to be a 3-day journey. This is a fairly large continent. It's probably going to be not quite 2.5, 3 weeks to get to Vilewater at the rate you guys are capable of traveling at this stage of the game. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, and I'll have Samara on the back of Hubert, and I will, as we're riding, give her the etiquette in which to ride horses, how to treat them, how to mount them, how to take care of them, and her duties of taking care of Hubert once we dismount and make.
Trust me, Sam knows how to mount plenty of things.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
I'm not sorry.
and I kind of look at Iolaus. I'm like, it looks like it's me and you, brother. Get on.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm riding with a tree.
A tree.
I think
single
again.
tree.
Again, you're. Would you rather me ride with you?
No, I think.
I feel like you riding with me would lead to my death.
First off, rude. Second off, how dare you? Third off, you might be right.
But I mean, to be fair, Udalotsa only has to ride with you every 1 in 3 hours. So
We're not
Because-
taking a short rest every 2 hours.
no, but a short rest can be had on the back of a horse.
You can, yeah, that's right.
If
All right, that's fine.
if Anakai is the one, if all Udalotsa is doing is sitting, because Udalotsa would be very uncomfortable on the back of a horse shared as well.
So every 3 hours, you just start at the back of it and transform.
No, just
Like a transformer.
every third hour.
Right? And he has to rest for an hour, and then he can do it again.
Yeah, so Udalotsa definitely stays a horse as much as possible.
Okay.
But logistics aside, yes, everyone is thoroughly mounted.
Everybody's got a place.
Perfect.
Okay. All things considered, it's time to head on out. As the sun is beginning to crest distantly behind you, I mean, you are heading kind of westward as far as things go. Directly outside of town is a lot of farmland. There's a lot of huts for, Ravala is a republic, so, they got a constitution and senate and all of that sort of stuff. But there are still a lot of lesser class citizens that don't own the land but work it for, people. It's not quite vassaldom, but it's very similar. So there's people already out in the fields working at, I don't know, corn or something. I'm not a farmer. I don't have Poor Richard's Almanac handy. So they're out farming.
Maize, beans, potatoes.
Exactly. So as you guys work, and Ravala being a relatively recent acquisition to the land of non-elves, humanity picking up in this only relatively recently, this is the only major road that's on the continent. And while it's not paved, it's in a far better state than anything else that you will find along the way. It's been cleared. It's, very wide, enough for a couple of wagons to go side by side, and mostly hard-packed dirt, but it is lined with stones to give a clear sense it's not going to be overgrown or easy to lose anywhere along the line. And as the city distantly vanishes behind you and a little more sparse trees begin to pop on up and the farms become further and further apart and you see more of the woodland starting to approach, as you crest another rise and then sweep on down over to the side, working way down a hill, there is a lone figure standing in the middle of the road, looking extremely bored. And you can tell that even at this distance, because by the shape of it, I'm going to say it's a feminine figure, but just the general disposition looks like someone that would be tapping their foot and waiting expectantly. If they had watches, they would be checking it every couple of seconds. Oh, my goodness. 2,000 murder hobos have been
We don't need to talk about
contributed
it.
to a side quest challenge. Interesting. So, in any case,
Just ignore that.
there is a figure oh boy, here it comes. There's a figure standing in the road as you guys approach. Now, you guys are not the only people on the road. I mean, it is a major thoroughfare, but as time passes on, nobody travels at the exact same speed. So you find yourself more or less alone. The nearest other group, maybe a mile back or so, on the nearest one ahead, maybe 2 miles or so. So there you go. There's someone on the road.
I look over and do they appear to have any sort of weapon on them?
Let's pull up the correct tab, which means I gotta close this tab. That's the wrong one. There we go. Because otherwise you could read everything that I write, and that's probably not. Yes, the figure, clad in very heavy, thick leathers that hang on down to ankles, and there is a full-on hood, has a behemoth of a crossbow, a Bessie Mauler-style big bad girl, slung in her arms. Not pointed, but definitely one hand supporting it and laying on her other, across, and it's pointed off to the side. And as you guys slowly approach, you can definitely tell she is not human. Perception checks, please.
Oh boy, let's see if this is set up correctly on. Oh, okay.
God, oh wow.
One nat
Okay.
20 and a regular 20, and wow, look at some of those rolls.
Oh, come on, give me the.
You want praise for a 9? Look at that, good on you.
What do you mean I want praise for a 9? I want praise for my nat 20.
Sam has the nat 20.
Oh, yeah, I'm upside down. Okay,
Reality can be whatever I want.
there you go.
Yeah.
You get the reality can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
I
can
can't
laugh
read.
for 7 hours at work tomorrow.
So, for those of you that got above a 15, you can tell that the figure is most assuredly not human. A orange-ish, definitely above human standard type of skin, but orange to the point of almost being red. Pokes on out, and even though she's wearing a hood, the hood sits high on her head, as if covering perhaps horns of some sort. She smiles easily, and her attire is definitely that of something martial. She's no stranger to combat. There is a scimitar on one hip, a small backpack slung over her back, and that greatcoat is an enormous, leather protective type of thing. It's kind of duster-esque, let's say. And as you approach, she still holds the crossbow in her primary hand, but raises the other one in a kind of friendly-ish gesture, and then she gives a smile as you get close. And I don't know how close you guys want to be.
I don't get close at all.
As we're coming close, I just lower my voice to Samar behind me, and I say, "If anything gets dangerous, take that one out first."
Of course, not a problem.
And I just allow Hubert to just casually go forward. I'm not one to show any fear or whatnot.
Okay.
I'm just continuing along.
I see her wave, and I'll just shoot back a wave, just like,
Okay.
hello. Acknowledge her existence. Hello there.
And General Kenobi, as Hubert approaches, I don't know what the other horses want to, riders want to do as far as
Declan.
stopping distance.
The horse's name is Declan.
Okay. So, at least Saphias continuing to approach the other two also.
I'm going to ride past.
Oh, okay. Well, as you start to work, when she can tell, she does slowly, very carefully, not to make any sudden moves, point the crossbow kind of down, and then swings it in the general direction of the road, Friendly conversation first, if you don't mind. There's no need for this to get violent, just words to be exchanged. As long as everything goes smooth. Very smooth.
Are you robbing us?
Oh, no. That would be so
Why
gauche.
are you holding us at gunpoint?
What's a
Or
gun?
point?
What's a gun?
She reaches up with her other hand and pulls back the hood, and you can tell that she's a tiefling. And she shakes out a mane of hair and then kind of gives a very charming, disarming style smile. Well, it seems that I'm actually going to be out about 10 gold. See, I had assumed you would flee in the night. I have been standing here waiting for a very long time. That's against me. My instinct should have been better. I just have one question I wish to ask, and then we can all part ways.
I don't see why a question should take any length of time. Ask your question so we may pass.
Oh, there are so many questions that could change the course of a lot of things. But this one, I think, would be simple as long as no one gets excited by it. I just have to know, just a little curious, why exactly is Smiling Jonah spending so much money for information on all of you? And she kind of gestures at Anakai with the crossbow, but then doesn't leave it lingering. Especially him. And all of his gear intact? That's a new one on me. So I'm being paid double for the shifter. I just want to know why.
That's a very good question. I have one for you. Just a quick one as well. That skin of yours, is it flammable?
Sam's gonna pat Sapphire on the shoulder and just smile. From what I know, no, that's actually more exotic. And I must say, generally, hot things tend to be resistant to the same kind of thing.
Yes, she kind of looks down at herself. Fire and I have a simpatico relationship. No, threats are just so gauche as well. Can we not do that? I'm not threatening you. You can't even bother to threaten me. A threat would require some semblance to act on it, and you're not capable of threatening me. No,
It's funny that you're trying to elicit a response by implying that we can't fight you. But aside from that, to answer your original question, so we can all get going and move on with our lives, the answer is quite simple. We did a task for him, we did what he wanted, and then we left with him.
No. That may be partially true, but Smiling Jonah was very specific. He wants that one and his gear. Now, there's a reason for that. Smiling Jonah is not the smartest man I've ever encountered, nor...
I mean, that's true. I'd like pipe up like, you got that right, honey.
Nor the most capable, but
Honey.
his funds are second to none save maybe certain kingdoms. He has ample pockets, and I and many other bounty hunters have been granted a significant amount of money to corner and corral that one. The rest of you are immaterial but extra. But him, no. If you did something, you crossed Jonah in some way. He doesn't spend money willy-nilly. Well, that's not something anyone would say. I just want to know why.
And yet he'll spend an exorbitant amount of money without telling you anything more than just keep his gear.
Oh, no.
Because at the moment, as far as I'm aware, and by all means, I know some people, and she's not going to directly look at Sophia, but she's going to raise her tone just a little bit.
You're behind me. You're in my
Yeah,
ear.
you're sitting on the same horse.
You're literally on my back.
She's turned to the side, kind of, like she's looking towards the other person. Just some people have the ability to force others to tell truths. You seem like you know how to read people pretty well. So by all means, read my lips thoroughly when I say the only thing that he may have a value on him are things that he has gotten before we have ever even interacted with Jonah at this moment on his person.
Yes, I understand the way of speaking truths without speaking anything. I'm just curious. Of course, he spent a lot of money.
Well,
As a professional bounty hunter, I do the job I'm paid to do without questions. But this one rankles me. Why? I've known Smiling Jonah for such a long time. I don't like him, and I want to know what you did to get under his skin.
As for why he wants him in specific, again, I would have to tell you that I don't know, because I honestly don't. But in
Would
terms
one of the
keeping his
remainder of
ear-
you wish to answer if she does not know? I grow weary of being told nothing by nothing. Someone. An answer.
I'm going to do something probably bold and yet stupid.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, hold on.
I
Let's hit the
I feel like
hubris
I know where
button.
this is going.
Hitting the
I feel like I
hubris
know where this is
button.
going.
Oh, let me load it up.
Roll
Let
it
me
out.
load it up.
Get them.
I slowly pull out my journal and go, he's looking for this.
Her eyes flick to it and narrow. I see a book. Curious. What would it have to offer? Why would he want a treasure? Ruins of some sort, perhaps. It holds a key that he wishes, yes? Interesting. You have something that he wishes desperately for, then, because the amount he is spending is more than I've seen him spend in a very long time. A journal. Judging by its cover, an ancient journal, perhaps 50, 60 years old. A treasure hunter journal. Intriguing. Someone has cataloged something useful for him at some point. I'm not sure why he would spend so much money for such a spiteful thing, nor, and she points the crossbow back at Anakai, why he is the one that is being doubled for him and his goods. Curious. And I'm going to insight check that real quick. You want to give me a deception?
Yeah.
No.
Not
particularly.
Yay!
Reality can be whatever.
Hey, if anyone in the Twitch chat's got some points to spend, if anyone in the Twitch chat,
That is just not cool. That is not cool. You can't
yeah,
ask
if
for
anyone
that.
happens to have like 800,
Are you kidding me? See, I know probably not a vampire IRL, so
Thank you, my guide out or
Thanks.
non-binary pal, and that I did not make that up. I don't remember. Where
Thank
I heard
you
it
so much
Wow.
for putting your points towards that, and I'm sorry the Mortanis will kill you in your sleep before the next session.
Oh, love you too, buddy. Okay, well, that is now a 1, so I guess that means I have to push this one, huh?
Often disappointing.
All right, so she does
Where was
not.
this for my history check? That's all I'm asking.
I implemented it that night after stream, so yeah. I have been betrayed by my own kind.
You caused future history. You should look at it that way.
Yep.
You
Eventually,
caused
at some
future-
point,
don't
it
we
will
all
pay off.
technically cause future history.
Well,
I
yeah.
am grasping at straws here. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So she does not notice the lie. And she nods slowly. Not quite sure, but accepting at this point. I see. Well then, a book. I can't say I understand exactly, but that does give me some illumination into this strange situation. Well then, take care. Enjoy, but please be warned. He will stop at very little for what he wants. But for my part in this, information about what has gotten under his skin is significantly worth more than the impressive sum he has offered for you. I will look for work elsewhere. Be well.
You said you got cheated out 10 gold, right?
Yes, I had a bet. I had a bet with a couple of other bounty hunters that you would flee in the night rather than waiting and staying in luxury within the city. I find most people prefer to flee before staying near trouble.
Sam's gonna flip her 5 gold.
She catches it very deftly and then slings the crossbow onto her back. Thank you. I appreciate being recompensed.
I'll sling her the other 5 to make the 10.
Okay. She'll catch that as
And-
well, too, and then give a flourish of a bow. I cannot say that he will keep far from you. His resources are vast, and he will throw a very wide net. Be cautious, but you will find no quarrel with me. I can find entertainment and money elsewhere. I do not feel I owe him this particular one, though I would gladly take his money. It's far and more interesting this way. He has been such a thorn in so many people's side. I was just glad to know why you were a thorn in his. And she kind of reaches back over her head and pulls the cowl back on over. And then, without taking her eyes off of you guys, just kind of steps back into the side so that she's completely out of the road. And then with a gesture, just kind of, you may continue on. And then she turns and retreats into the forest.
Before she does that, could I ask her how much the bounty was worth?
She pauses, turns back, looking over her shoulder. For him or for all of you?
Both.
I have been... The contract is for anyone who can bring in information. 500 per head. 1,000 to bring him in.
Thank you for your time.
Oh. Damn Hazard.
Yeah. You're already, Sophia's already turning around, dragging him back. Okay, that would be so much money to do Hazard's will in the world.
Ah, yes, unfortunately.
So many pamphlets.
So many pamphlets.
Like we're all just like staring at each other, like we just like a knowing bond of, if any of you piss me off, I'm fucking like, y'all are with.
Before we start, I turn my head and I look at Anakai. Like I told you before, I will not lie to you, and I will not betray you. If you were any other person, you would be with her in a matter of seconds, if it were within my power. But you can trust that even the allure of 1,000 gold keeps you safe, and if monetary gain does not let you trust me, I'm not sure what else would.
Sam's just gonna kind of pat her back.
Anakai has his head hung with the cloak over it, and he is mumbling under his breath. You can roll a perception if you want to understand what he's...
I would love to roll a perception to see if I can hear what he's saying.
No, I'm too bothered by... Samara, I told you, I'm not one for personal touch, so please keep your hands to yourself.
No, it's very hard when we're both on the back of a horse. I don't want to lose my balance. After all, falling off would be terribly inefficient. Don't you agree?
I'm not that quiet, but, like... I'd say...
I'm gonna use this against you, Blarg.
A 10 or higher
an opportunity.
is all you need. A 10 or higher is all it takes for this, and it's just him under his breath, like, "Oh my God, 1,000 gold pieces! I can't go anywhere. My face is gonna be known. I need to leave the continent. I need to get out of here. Another boat. I need to leave. I gotta get the fuck out of here, man." I know.
You hear him mumbling under his breath. What does he say? The blood of the innocent shall flow.
Well, what's the what?
Reality is often disappointing.
That's that one. There it is.
Yeah. I didn't hear him say a thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
I am visibly shaken to the core.
Sam and her both heard that.
No, yeah, I'm just rolled because everyone else said no. I'm just not paying attention to him. I'm already gabbling away with Hubert.
I keep like I'm gonna like once she's like gone, I'm just gonna kind of let it quiet like like oh god, glad that worked out.
Sam's also gonna speak up behind Sophia. I know you're not into personal touch, but really I don't want to fall off this horse. Do you mind? Is there anywhere in particular I should be holding you that you're okay with, or?
Particularly, I wish if you would just hold your breath. Particularly for quite a long time.
Happen.
Yes, unfortunately. No, just right
Shoulders
here.
Or waist?
Waist. It's more comfortable that way.
Sam, hold her waist.
Thank you. And I'll just continue on with Hubert and just give him a little kick and go along our path.
And Sam will at the very least stay quiet for a little bit.
This works.
This is it for me. The walls are closing in. It's game over, man. It's game over.
Die in the game. We die for real.
DM, I'd love to be able to roll, whether it be a perception or not, just to see if there are any others in the forest, and if if now that I know that there's a bounty on Enakai's head, I'd love to be having a bit more of an acute watch as we're going. I'm assuming that Hubert is somewhere in the front. So I will actively be looking out just in case there might be any other waylanders or bandits hiding in the forest.
Go ahead and give me that perception. Yes.
Oh god, excuse me.
Interesting, but no, there are no others waiting in the forest that you can see. You can actually make her out as she's moving between the trees, definitely leaving the area, but nope, no one else.
Okay, and then I'll just simply just keep a watch, a little bit more aware, and I will limit as much as I'm speaking now, staying mainly to myself as I'm looking around. But that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard not to just start like watching over your shoulder once you've been told you have a bounty on your head.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a catatonic state.
Catatonic.
Boo.
Boo.
All right.
Udalotsa says to Anakai, you seem to be in distress. This one will take the horse, and takes the reins from Anakai.
Are you still a horse by now?
No, Udalotsa is gonna just ride with you and take the reins for a while.
I would love to watch a horse ride a horse.
It's like that song, Old Town Road. I'm going to take my horse to the hotel room. I'm going to ride till I can't no more.
What?
That's what the lyrics say. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I found out what that song was about. I had no idea.
Yeah. It's about a dude banging a horse. I know.
It's really not.
No. Why else would he take a horse to a hotel room?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you don't take a horse. I mean, Hubert. That's why I keep him on a hitch. I mean,
Whoa. Okay. Jeez.
We're moving quickly onwards.
It's only appropriate. You don't bring him to a hotel room.
I will let Udalotsa take the reins and just I'm hanging on, but I don't have my arms around him. I'm just kind of leaning my forehead onto his back and still just mumbling quietly under my breath.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask you something, but I just kind of look over. I'm like, a different time. Just like that. Maybe not now.
Maybe not a good time.
He seems like he's thinking about life.
He's a little distressed.
They're gonna rip out my entrails and use me as a meat toboggan.
Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
To be fair, they did want you alive, so I mean, at least you're alive.
For now.
You hear Anakai. You hear in your brain Udalotsa's voice saying, "Are you fine, cat friend?"
Sudden voice in my head. I'm going crazy, aren't I?
All right. So
All
after
over.
this very special episode of Blossom, is there anything else you guys want to tackle in the interim, or shall we continue?
We'll continue.
No, I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, I know you guys are going to set very dedicated and specific watches, so the remainder of the first day passes without events other than you continue along the road. The traffic that you had originally seen, you pass fewer and fewer people, and those that are behind you distantly dwindle as they either go faster than you or just vanish into the wayside, pulling off into side villages and the like, which are not shown on the map currently. But eventually, as time continues, the road begins to meander through thick, luscious, verdant undergrowth type of thing, where, let's bring up the map again, as you begin to work your way more into the edges of the Silver Court area where wood elves hold some sort of sway. Now, keeping in mind, this is just a little bit of backstory. Silver Court elves are wood elves, as opposed to the high elves that live in the other continent and have an actual kingdom of Waranthamar. Wood elves, Silver Court is not, as far as most people would consider it, a city per se. Think of it more in Lord of the Rings terms, where Rivendell would be Waranthamar, with great gracious flowing buildings and elves with long flowing draperies and the like, whereas Silver Court and wood elves would be more akin to the other elves, Lothlorien elves, geez, where there's
Yeah.
not exactly a lot of buildings, but there are some outdoor areas, and they're more in touch with the nature. People generally think of elves as either high and snooty, or the ones that are super in tune with nature. Well, that's actually kind of a split. One is one type, the other is the other. Many wood elves don't actually have homes. They live in caves, or they live in their trees or tents and the like, and just are more nomadic type of a people. They just live in the woods. They exist there. There isn't a need for a permanent structure or a place. And Silvercourt, the city, is not like a kingdom or any, because there is no leadership. The elves just do as they will. And Silvercourt is more akin to a series of embassies for other areas than shops for the outsiders to be able to do trade and the like. There's not as much, elven palaces and royalty here. Wood elves are definitely xenophobic to a certain extent. Many wood elves hate outside races of any type and find it to be disgusting to ever interact with any except for the locals. Not all hold that position. Many feel that it is a necessity. Humans and the rest of them are part of the world, and they are part of the world as well. So that means that everything is kind of, simpatico. But there's a contingent of wood elves that are definitely like, horrifically, like you would never ever talk to any. So humans are animals effectively and the like. So despite that, Silvercourt being where it is, that instructed where a lot of people wound up building their homes and the like, and the road through the area, because the elves were here first, and this was a congregation of them. Many of the elves don't really care. It's not far enough along in industrialization to say that, oh no, they're cutting down the forests, and it's not gone full fern gully yet here. But so a lot of the elves are, they're okay to exist with others as long as they're not the xenophobic type of ones. So they don't really care that, villages are popping up. There's not like wood elf raids to kill locals or anything like that. Currently, it's still early enough in the stages of humans showing up into this area that it hasn't become an issue. So, for the most part, it's not quite a big deal, but there are certain elves that definitely feel that nothing should change except nature itself, that the timeless nature of elves and the eternalness should definitely take precedence, and filthy humans should not be building anywhere near their trees, that sort of a thing. So no open tensions, no warfare, and to be perfectly honest, any sort of things that would have maybe led that way were completely wiped away when the undead started getting up and eating people's faces off. And unlike Warenthamar, Silvercourt had no such powerful magics to stay against any sort of undead. So the undead of elves that have been living here for thousands of years did get up. But thankfully, elves don't have a lot of, generations. They don't have a lot of children, so it wasn't nearly as many. And since humans are a recent development, there wasn't a whole lot, but it did kind of make light of any sort of racial tensions that they might have had with humans, because there's bigger problems. So as you guys approach the Silvercourt area, especially Aeolus, but some of you can start to feel more of a calmness in the air, a magical presence that feels very relaxing, very peaceful, not as in like it's quiet, but as in like your soul just feels uplifted and lighter from any burdens and troubles that you might have had. Steps feel a little bit quicker. Everything feels just a little bit less overwhelming and strong. And the forest is more like we have up here, northwest. Bracken ferns everywhere, big trees, but they're not like super jammed close together, tall grasses, a lot of big like brush type of things. So it's more open than you would think of like a traditional elven type of things. But as you continue, and at the end of the first day, and whatever sort of thing you want to put out there for the watch, you're starting to definitely tell you're getting close to the elven lands just by the feel in the air. So I will let you guys decide who wants to do what watches here.
Well, personally, I feel like Aeolus, you might have an advantage here that most of us don't. Aeolus is a half elf, correct? If
Full
I'm
elf.
crazy. Full elf?
Yes, full wood elf.
Oh, I apologize. Yes. So I just look over to you. Are you familiar with these lands here?
I am not from here, but I know of their culture and such.
I mean, it's more than we know, so.
Yes. Well, DM, how are we on supplies, by the way? I know we got maybe some provisions from the church when we left, but I wasn't exactly certain how much we had gotten as well.
About 2 weeks worth of usable rations, food, and water and the like. So, well, not water. You're not carrying 2 weeks of water. There's plenty of water all over the place. You know, it's not like there's a, industry to taint it or anything like that. So yeah, a decent amount of rations that'll get you through at least to Silver Court and beyond. Most likely you'll be able to get to the capital itself before you have to worry about restocking. So all good.
Gotcha. I look over. Well, if it's anyone's listening, I suggest that we let Eolus take a bit of a forefront here with these people. We don't require supplies immediately, but if we're able to stop in and grab some very briefly and go on our way, that might be to our benefit.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Doesn't hurt to check.
Yeah, that works.
I was just gonna take a look around the town, I guess.
Oh, you guys got a couple of days to get to town. You're camping at the side of the road.
Oh.
It's a 3-day overland.
Oh, okay, my bad. I misunderstood.
Yes, we're not there yet, but I guess we're close.
Are we within the borders of their land?
No
or...
borders. I mean, what do elves need with defining the edges of the world?
Well, I was just thinking more about, you said as you approach, you get like a calmness or whatever about it. So I was like, I don't know if you would tell, if we had reached that point yet.
You would definitely, from your own point of view, personally think that you are within more of the elven land. Like I said, there's no hard boundaries, and the magic of, existence itself is hard to quantify between one step and the next. But you're definitely in what you would consider elven territory, even though the elves themselves just consider territory to be wherever they're standing, type of a thing,
Okay.
Now, you also, without having to roll a check, would be aware that the wood elves in the area do have their own equivalents of the undead hunter companies, though they are more just hunter companies as far as like rangers go that protect the people, not as in like protect them from, humans or anything like that, but the occasional wild beast that gets in there, and they actually are more like humanitarian. That's a horrible thing to say about the, they're more helpful. Like they hunt and bring food to those that need it and provide like maintenance on, any sort of thing that might need it, home roofing and thatching for those that have more of like a lean-to style house or, dugout or, the like. So they're not per se a warrior faction so much as just rangers that happen to shoot things, and those things are usually probably like deer to bring them food, but also like handymen that go around. So you're aware that there are a couple of different groups, and once DuskFire hit, they just naturally assumed the duties of clearing out undead as well. So, but you would also be aware that this would probably be an area that would have the highest concentration of undead on the entire continent, other than, there weren't a lot of elves, but per capita, there's probably more undead in this area than not.
Okay.
We must be cautious.
Yes. So knowing this, is everybody still around? I know Anakin went up a tree. Would you be close enough that you could still hear me, or?
Who, Anakai?
Yes.
No, I'm going high up in the trees.
Okay, then. Well, I'll tell everybody but Anakai since he's already ran away. Just that this area is known for being more dangerous with the undead when dusk comes. So we will need to be, while we are in the territory, so to speak, of the wood elves, we need to be on high alert after dusk.
I kind of look at this is just total snark. After the news we just found out, I think we're on alert 24/7 now.
I would be extra because this would be more than what we're used to in terms of after dusk.
Well, then it would be important to set up some guard then at night. Have people watching. Make sure that we're aware of our surroundings. I would suggest those who are able to see in the dark possibly accompany those who cannot. Having rotating shifts, I don't know how many we need from the night, but I think that would be the best option.
Well, me and Iolus are elves. We can see in the dark up to 60 feet, right?
Yep. And I don't know about you, but are you half elf or full elf?
I'm half elf, I guess. Does that mean I can still?
Well,
do I still get?
Go ahead.
I was gonna just ask if, even though I'm half elf, do I still get like 60-foot night vision?
It should be in your chart.
Yeah, it would tell you.
I was more wondering about whether or not you have the meditation thing that I have, where you only need 4 hours meditation or sleep. If so, if
What's
I
it
could
called?
Half elves do indeed get dim light, 60 feet dark vision, and let's see their sleeping thing. I don't see it.
I think half elves sleep like humans.
Okay. Which means that if I could rest before it gets dark, I could be, I guess, awake all night for a shift if I need to.
I kind of look at him and I'll look at you and be like, man, I barely sleep anyways, and I still operate. I can take the first half.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the first half shift.
Okay.
And I guess I'll take. If there's no other takers, then I'll also at least stay up for a turn and join you in the first watch.
I can help anyone, especially if there's anyone who can't see in the dark.
Well,
This one will rise with first light and take last watch.
Okay.
Then, Ulos, it sounds like you and I have last watch, unless Sam joins us.
I'm sure you two have it covered. I'll be with someone.
Okay.
All right. Those of you that are taking the first watch, please give me perception checks.
Luck be a lady tonight.
Blazingly mediocre.
A blazingly mediocre lady.
As night fully descends, the air grows oppressive, silent, like even the absence of birds and animals, cricket sounds, nothing of the sort. It blankets over you guys. How far away from the road do you set up?
Let's say like 10, 20 feet.
Okay. A decent, but not far distance. Okay, easy enough. As you get about halfway through the first watch, when the sun has fully vanished behind the horizon and full darkness has descended, that oppressive silence begins to kind of gnaw at you. It's so unnatural. Everything should have sounds, but there's not even a bit of breaking branches or creaking branches or anything of the sort. There's just a preternatural silence just pressing in on all directions. Even when you glance about with your 60-foot dark vision, very fancy, and you can see branches swaying in a gentle breeze, there's no sound from it. It's unnerving that you can actually see what should be making noise, but there is nothing. And as it presses down on you, it just starts to feel more and more just driving like strange fingers into your head. It should sound. There should be something. Silence is unnatural. What was that?
I was just gonna look at Sophia, and I'm like, it gets to me. I'm like, doesn't it bother you that there's no sound? Doesn't it bother you that I'm looking at trees moving. I'm looking at what should be wind. There should be crickets or something. There's nothing.
Are you afraid of the dark?
That's
You don't have to lie to me. There's no one else awake. I will keep your secret.
First off, that's not the point. Second off, yes, I am. Third off, my point is that there should, in the night, as in their crickets, as in their noise, there's just general ambiance. There's nothing. It's unnatural. Is my point.
I nod my head. No, I'm only teasing you. Yes, it is unnerving. Do you see anything out there? I'm trying, but this a little unnerving not being able to hear anything at all. But what's more unnerving is that even though there is silence, I don't see any people stirring, and with these bounty hunters, or whatever they are, trying to come after us, I expected more of a resistance on this trip, especially for 1,000 gold bounty. 1,000 gold. Why would Smiling Jonah have so much money? That woman, whoever, we didn't even ask her name.
Mm-hmm.
Sam cried.
She said that he had wealth comparable to, like, what did she say? Like a kingdom?
Second only to some kingdoms.
To think that a man that we had scoffed so early on as just some regular person would have so much financial backing to him. Don't you find that odd?
Oriel, something moves in the darkness. You can see it just at the edge of your vision with your 12.
What, is it like humanoid?
No. It's a shadowy figure that separates from a tree and slides silently across to another tree nearby. It's hard to make out in the darkness as it's about 70-odd feet away, and then nothing. You can't see it again. It's behind a tree or just gone. It was definitely not humanoid, but it was big.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, like, before I answer...
I should say it was large, as in D&D size large.
Before I answer your question, and I'm going to fully accept that this probably is just my insanity speaking at this point, I did see something move over there in the trees, from one tree to another, and it was definitely not human, if it was something there. Quite large, in fact. It could be nothing, and it could just be my mind playing tricks on me, or it could be a very, very big, scary monster. At this point, I don't know which one's worse. And to answer your question, yes, it's very baffling that a man who has apparently endless wealth would
eat beef jerky.
One only I'm like really just like headstrong on the beef jerky. I'm like, one only eat beef jerky. I mean, like, how dare he? Second, no, I don't actually say that. Second, like, first off, like, why does he care about this? There's not. He's playing it off as wealth. I don't think it's wealth. Second off, I feel like we're being jokingly. I feel like we're being underpaid or undervalued. I feel like we're worth more than 500 and 1,000.
It's not the fact that there's bounty hunters chasing after you. It's the fact that it's insultingly low that they're being paid.
Exactly. It's kind of like Flynn Rider in Entangled. Like, they got my nose all wrong. Like, like.
Yeah. Like, there's principles here. The principle is not that people want to kill me. That's normal. That's average. I expect that. So they're just so damn cheap about it.
It's like, come on, I feel more value than that. It's just like, no, it's weird. He's weird. There's more to that stuff, and I like kind of. You say that there's a divine thing keeping us here. What if there's a divine thing bringing Jonah with the staff?
You raise a good point, and trust me, I'd love to have this riveting conversation, but you said that there's something in the trees. And as he's speaking and like he's going on this rant about this, I'm slowly taking my mace to my side and bringing it to my side. And I'm also looking at where the nearest one of our teammates are as they're sitting there.
Presumably they're all sleeping around a non-existent campfire so that you wouldn't bring attention to yourself. And it's now the middle of the night, so they're nearby.
Oh, trust me. I'm looking at the spot where I saw it. I'm like, it's not getting by me. I'm alert. I'm ready. I'm like, I got my bow ready, and I'm ready to like in any direction. If anything that I suspect is not humanoid moves towards me, I'm shooting. I specified not humanoid, so if like you stand up or something, I'm not gonna just like, fata. You know,
Then I look over and I say, well, if we're being completely honest, I would say that 500 gold for any of us is quite steep. But 1,000, now that is interesting of its own. 1,000 gold. I'm just kind of musing on that. I'm still trying to look around and see through the trees.
Go ahead and both give me extra perception checks now that you're focused.
Come on.
Can Sophia even see?
No, that's it's very difficult for me to see.
Go ahead and give me
I guess I can
disadvantage
go-
on yours. Ha.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Samara, you monster.
I do it in your campaign too.
Oh, well,
See, you're fine.
Hey, that's actually okay-ish. I mean,
Yeah.
better than it was.
You rolled better than the dark vision guy. You're fine.
Now, yes, this time the 13 is not sufficient to tell, but the 14 is moving between the trees, not like from tree to tree, like, you know, some sort of a monkey or something, but just as if it was hiding behind a tree. You see a heavy shape. It's probably about 5-6 feet tallish or so. It's difficult to make out. It's definitely on 4 legs, shapeless form, though glowing with an ethereal type of light, a whiteness that kind of pushes away the darkness ever so slightly. And as you're watching between blinks, a sudden rain starts up. Gentle, warm, almost refreshing. It feels good to be in this rain, unlike everything else. It just cascades down in a very soft manner, not aggressively making you wet or anything, but again, you can't hear it bouncing off the leaves. There's just nothing about it. There's a preternatural silence still, even though the drops bounce off the leaves, roll down and hit you in the face, and then the figure again is gone, moving to another tree a little closer.
I believe we should wake the others. I don't like this.
I don't like it at all either. I'm gonna start waking everyone up and be like, something's out there.
And I'm just going to, the one nearest to me, I'm going to slowly just shake them awake, trying to stay quiet and keeping my eyes towards them. It's difficult for me to see in the dark, but...
Simultaneously, yes. 3 horses start whinnying, pulling at their bindings, holding them tethered to a tree or whatever you've done with them.
The moment that Hubert begins to make any sort of noise, I cast thaumaturgy, and in a loud booming voice, I say, "Intruders, wake!" And I begin to sprint towards Hubert.
Red alert!
Man, that's a good way to alert anything in our area that we're here.
This rainfall...
Bananas. Hubert, the most useful party member, has been threatened. I will not stand for it.
Okay, what was that?
This rainfall that's coming down.
Yes.
Is this coming down even on me being so high up on the tree? Like, is it coming from the sky, or is it like...
Yes, it is definitely coming from the sky.
Okay, just making sure it wasn't like a magic spell cast like above them but below me, given that I'm fairly high up.
Whatever your vision range is, presuming 60 like everything else in this game
60
is,
dark vision.
then you can see that it's affecting all the trees and leaves around, and you can see the from up above in the darkness of the sky. So yeah, it's just normal rain, other than the fact that it's not normal. So, you know.
Well, as a result to the booming voice of Sophia, I'm going to tie my rope that I'm going to untie the rope from the tree trunk, which I've been using to keep myself just in case I fell off and might not sleep, and tie it to one of the sturdier branches and start scaling down the tree.
Okay. As you do that, everybody can come awake. At this point, there's no disadvantages on that. Go ahead and give me perception. This is going to be audio-based in case you get any sort of an advantage on that. I don't think anyone does, but you never know. There are differences. Ooh, that's a
Come on, decent number.
Give me the
That's
numbers.
a decent number.
Okay.
22 is a decent number.
Everybody is doing pretty decent here. Except
Until
for
I
Annika.
roll.
Well, mostly everybody. You
Take
rolled higher
that.
than Anakai.
Okay. Almost all of you, inexplicably except Anakai, who's probably a little bit preoccupied by descending from the tree, can hear a low growl that sounds very predator-like from the movies, like type of a thing. It is most certainly not the sort of sound that, bears or wolves or other natural denizens of the forest would ever make. It is low, a rumbling that rolls over the chest, and the horses immediately just go full panic, and I am going to see if they try to break their binding. Well, if they do break their bindings or not, because this is just psychotic for them. So here we go, 1d20, and notably, this is the only sound that you can actively hear aside from each other. So
I have an idea. So, Udalotsa, you are awake.
Yes.
I ask you, could you please light one of my arrows, please?
Will you light my candle?
Yeah, I do.
one of the horses that you guys had gotten from the Church of Voxna with a let's say a horrendous whinny and a wrenching at the bindings that hold it on down, just snaps the rope clean in twain, and it bolts out into the darkness, and then stops about 20-odd yards away, so fast that its hooves skitter on the dirt and grass, digging up furrows, and it rears back with a shriek, and then begins backpedaling towards you guys, turns and sprints off into the darkness, now the other way. And that way that it was running originally is not the way that you guys saw whatever that shape was in the forest.
Was it Declan?
Let's see. It was one of the two, so that's a 50% chance. So we're going to say low for player benefit, and that would be to keep it, I assume. So unless you really wanted to get rid of the horse. Low for player benefit was not successful in this case. So yes, it was. Declan races off into the night.
So I noticed that the horse. So I'll shoot one arrow that Udalotsa lit into the direction where I saw the beast, and then I'm gonna ask him to light it again and shoot an arrow into the direction where the horse ran to, and then backpedaled.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not gonna. I'm probably not gonna catch anything on fire considering it's raining, but also just to see if I can even catch like a glimmer of something.
Sam's gonna try and stealth away and just kind of move off to a darker area and just stealth.
Okay. The first arrow fired off in the direction of what you saw the first time reveals nothing. Whatever may have been there does not appear to be there, or if it is, it's not visible behind the trees. As you spin and fire off that second flaming shot in the direction where the horse had originally run towards, it hits with a meaty thunk into a tree, reverberating for a second, casting wild and vicious shadows, spinning for just a split second. Yeah.
I like look at you. I'm like that was not my intention. That was not my intention.
When you hit the tree, yeah. So it hits and it vibrates for a second, and because of the flaming tip, it sends the light flickering and shadows spin and dance, and something about 20 yards on out, hulking between two trees. Your eyes cannot fixate on it. Whatever it is, the shape, your eyes just slide right off of it as if it's not there, or if it's just unnatural to the point of not being able to tell. It's a vague, formless shape that shifts and twists as you stare at it. 1 second it seems like bear-sized, and then the next its whole form has separated and shifted. It's almost akin to like the Predator stealth, except its form itself seems to be moving. It's standing there, and then a second later it seems to be 15 feet away. Well, we'll call it 10 feet away. Still just a dark, flickering, shapeless void of nothingness that your eyes want to slide across, and then nothing. That roar again growls through the area, hammering at your senses, and you can tell it's definitely coming from that thing. And then the rain snuffs out with a hiss, the arrow, and darkness descends again, and that's silence.
Can I go ahead and try and stealth?
Oh, yeah.
And
would it be an advantage or anything because hiding around in the darkness, or?
Same with Anakai.
Yeah, why don't you guys both go ahead and take advantage on that?
17.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
Man, I'm just bored on these rolls, man.
Them numbers do not like you tonight. All right. You guys, push yourselves into the darkness, becoming one with it, sort of. Some of you.
I'm just quietly perched in a tree.
And I will, and I'd like to just rush over to the other horse and Hubert, mainly just Hubert, trying to make sure that they don't break away from their bonds as well. And I would just like to try to calm them if I can use animal handling just to try to calm them as they're freaking out.
Give it a go. Single roll for both of them.
Gotcha.
Decent, yeah. It's difficult to get through in their completely panicked state, but you kind of manage to pull them back a little bit and whisper sweet, sweet nothings in their ear. Wait, that's the other song. You manage to calm them a bit. They no longer are pulling at their bindings.
I'm gonna shoot another arrow where I saw the thing.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll on this one, but you get disadvantage because you're technically firing at an invisible opponent, which, surprisingly, in 5th edition, only gives you disadvantage.
And before I was also going to mention that I have Udalotsa light it on
fire again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still going to be disadvantaged because you're not sure what you're firing at.
Right. I was
Even
just
with
saying.
dark vision, they can't see.
I was just saying more for if like
it's already been established. It's like a magical darkness.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Also, looks like OBS is just crapping the bed here pretty heavily for me. My internet is flaking out a lot. So if I start to stutter or lose a little bit because it's going red in the OBS and I'm down to like 500 kilobits. So hopefully it'll stabilize here a little bit.
Hold on, I have to roll again because I forgot it was disadvantage.
Hey, not bad on both of those. Okay. The arrow goes whistling out into the night. And then almost inexplicably, well, not almost inexplicably, very what you would expect. After about 20, 30 feet or so, the arrow that was whistling stops whistling. You can still see it traveling through the air and it hits with another thunk. But that silence just seems for 1 second it was nothing. You could hear the arrow and then silence. The arrow slams into another tree, and this time it does seem to manage to kindle a little bit of the tree on fire. The bark goes on up, casting a bright reddish-orange glow across, a good 20, 30 feet or so as you're able to see a little bit more. There's nothing there. And then a gut-wrenching shriek of a horse dying somewhere in the darkness rips at your ear. It is plaintive, high-pitched, a whine of pain and agony that goes on for far, far too long.
Does it come from where I shot the arrow?
No, it comes from basically south. If what you saw originally when you were taking your first thing was off to the west, and then the horse was running to the east and then stopped, and then it kind of cut back. It is once again in the west that this happens.
I was like, man, if I just killed that horse, I think both
Anakai's horse, no less.
Yes, I think both Sophia and Anakai would come together for once and be like, you're dead. Just like,
especially since you just lit a tree on fire too. So I think Udalotsa would have something to say. You would just get thrashed by half the party straight up.
Yeah.
So two questions as I'm descending down.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm descending down from branch to branch, does my every time that I land my feet on a branch to get my footing, does it make a sound?
Yes.
Okay. And the second question is, I'm going to, well, to preface this, I'm stopping at about 30 feet above the party. With 60 feet of dark vision, can I see anything from an upper level of view?
Go ahead and give me a perception.
Let's see. Wow, come on, dice.
The RNGesus is not favoring tonight. I am sorry.
No, it's not. That's sad.
And OBS is still in the red. Okay, we may have to. Well, actually, we are getting on towards where we would probably start to do 100 kilobits. It's amazing you guys can even hear me at this point. I wonder if it's Twitch itself, because Discord seems to be good. Let's try to get through what we've got here, and then we can assess at that point. So, no, you glance on out into the darkness below, around, up, everything, nothing. You can not see the horse, but you can certainly hear it, not far from where you are.
As heartbreaking as that is, and it's still more alarming, he's going to draw his short bow and knock an arrow and get ready to fire if he sees movement.
Okay.
Udalotsa is going to prepare to cast Fairy Fire using the spell.
Love that spell. It's a great one, yeah.
The next time that they see the shadow.
Sam's actually just going to ooh, do I want her to ready a dagger? Just pull out her bow. Yeah, bow.
And I am actually going to
with a finality that is almost thankful at this point. The horse's dying screams cut off, with as if just clean through.
I'm going to just I'm just going to cover Hubert's ears as this is happening, but I will prepare a sacred flame next time I see it. One of those shapes move.
Oh, I kind of want to say something to the group. I'm just be like, guys, whatever this is trying to pry on our insanity. We need to control our shots or control ourselves, because it wants us to. It wants us to be like this.
The rain continues to fall as you speak to the group, soaking you guys through, but it feels pretty good. It's nice.
Don't do anything unless you're certain it's there. I feel like it's trying to make us go crazy.
Can anyone else see the creature? I can't see anything at all through this darkness.
No one's got eyes on it at the moment. No one has succeeded on enough of a perception. If anyone wants to try to, try again, you may go for it.
Sam just has her daggers out.
I haven't
going for one more.
tried yet, so
Come on, Arnie.
Hey.
Nope.
Anakai got that 18, though. Finally. And 16, okay. Some pretty good numbers there. At least some people can see something
I'm sorry.
out into the darkness. No.
Nope.
Yeah. Anakai, since you are the one with the best vantage point, being up in the tree as you're descending, and also the one that got the highest, finally now, as you kind of level yourself down another couple of feet and glance towards the sounds, the area where the sounds were, you can see a form. Large, big, massive, but sprawled out on the forest floor, partially obscured by ferns, bracken. It's difficult to see given the complete and utter darkness there, but it's thrashing around and then slows, and then nothing. No movement. No sound.
I can still see it just laying there, though, right?
Just at the edge of your vision, about 60 feet away. As a hypotenuse of a right triangle, you kind of angle down on the forest floor,
So here we go. Short bow, arrow, draw it back.
Point it out, point it out, point it out.
Ping it on the map.
After I took the shot.
Just say where it is so that I can cast Fairy Fire on that area.
Or so I can use the help action.
So I can make sure that Hubert doesn't look in that direction.
Do I get advantage on this roll? Would you say?
Not that I can think of. You don't get disadvantage for it being dark, because you can see it, sort of.
But does this for sneak attack purposes, does it notice that I'm up above it?
No, it does not. Good point. I keep forgetting about rogues.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and drop that advantage, and please,
Ooh.
20.
All right, decent hit. Arrow flies true, soaring through the darkness. You hear the thwang of your bow, and then the silence as the arrow parts through the air and just hammers in. And you get, and this time I'm using it correctly, I use it often, but a meaty thunk as it hits flesh this time. Heavy
and as soon
thwack.
as the arrow hits, Anakai is going to call out Udalotsa to your right, straight ahead, 60 feet forward.
Udalotsa, you're easily able to determine exactly where that is given the arrow hitting, and you can hear that same meaty thunk, which draws your attention on it. I like meaty thunk is just such a weird but apt kind of like, it sounds like, when Rocky punches that big old side of beef as he's trying to get in shape type of a thing,
I mean, meaty thunk works. It works.
371k. Well, apparently all my bandwidth is going to Discord, so
Thunk.
it's a good thing I record these VODs.
So I guess it needs to make a spell save DC
Okay.
for a dex save.
Okay.
I feel like this thing is very dexterous.
Nothing seems to happen at that. The fairy fire lights up an area, twinkling lights of blues and greens and violet that somehow seem very apt in this forest, given that it's elven in nature, and it feels like the sort of thing that you would be able to see just walking along, and there's a fairy ring and some lights, and an ethereal glow kind of twists and turns through the air, and you can just make out in a very large form, the form of a horse with his throat ripped entirely out, all the way down to the vertebrae, leaving it just a couple of bones and some skin on the back of it, with an arrow sticking out of its right front shoulder. The forest is stained dark with this copious amounts of blood that has been just tossed out like a 5-gallon bucket, just dumped out there. It is unmoving, clearly dead.
What is this? The scene from Godfather where the man wakes up in the bed and you see the horse's head?
Can we get an F in chat for Declan?
You know what? Just for the sake of like.
This is what I get for naming the animal. This is what I get.
It was entirely random. RNG despised it. There was. It's dead, so it doesn't need to save.
For the sake of doing it, just for funsies, I'm gonna roll a Constitution check to not just not puke.
Also, follow up to the shot, and after giving orders, I'm going to go bonus action, quote unquote, to hide.
Okay.
Stealth.
Oh, okay, I get it. That wasn't actually the animal wasn't over there. Got it.
Well, it was at some point. Anakai saw it as seconds after its throat had been torn out and slumped to the ground. Saw the horse, not the thing.
Would a 13 be enough to prevent me from violently throwing up from seeing that massacre?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, a couple of things. One, I am going to need everybody to make a visual-based perception check. Aeolus, you get advantage. Two, the silence still permeates the air. It is still surrounding you and keeping it, and the rain continues to pour on down, but the oppressiveness of the silence no longer feels quite as heavy. Instead of like a wet blanket that's been thrown over the world, now it's just more of a gentle silence of a forest that is just at peace and rest. The stark contrast between moments is almost as jarring as when the shriek tore through the night. 1 second, it feels like the forest has literal animosity towards you, and then the next, that same silence just feels like a safety blanket.
And
that's an amazing roll, Aeolus. Wow.
I was thinking, I was like, what?
Is this based
perfectly
on
balanced as all things should be? Sorry.
If it's based on sight, do I get disadvantage because it's still dark, or do
it
I
is
just
based
simply
on
roll?
sight, but you do not get disadvantage for reasons I shall shortly explain.
Don't worry, I don't need it. I
Wow.
suck anyways.
Anakai is the only one that notices this. It required a 20, which is just absolutely hellishly difficult to notice.
Woo!
As you're kind of
Your horse died.
no, as you're piecing together everything that's going on, noticing that there's a dead horse, noticing that everything, and as you're rehiding, there is something standing directly behind Anakai, or Aeolus. Sorry, it is a shadowy figure with just a faint glow about it, an ethereal light, a luminescent that reminds you of the fairy lights, like a pearlescent sheen in the darkness. It's a human figure with one hand reaching out and touching him on the shoulder. Yet he does not notice, nor does anyone else. It is as if a human is standing there, but instead of like the predator shifting effect, it's more like they're made out of a single pearlescent color, a not quite white that's been turned down the saturation until it's almost black.
How far away, other than being about 30 feet above them, how far away is Aeolus?
Shoot
Like,
through
am I
him.
directly
From the base of the
above
tree,
him?
about 40 feet or so.
Okay,
Shoot
so
through
I
him.
am not about to angrily leap at this creature with daggers drawn, but instead I will whip out another arrow, knock it, and then fire it directly behind Aeolus at the target.
At the target?
Hit
Okay.
him.
I'd hope at the target.
Well, I didn't know if he was shooting behind and like trying to do a warning shot. Yeah, you will get advantage.
If you pin the creature to Aeolus, then we can clearly just gang up on it. But if you only shoot it, it'll run away. Basic tactics, guys. Come on.
Or just,
Staple this man.
or just one
Oh,
pump him.
that's a good shot. Hey man,
Nice.
nice
Going
shot.
right between the eyes.
It does.
What
It
eyes?
hits right through the vague area that appears to be its head, and it goes through, and like smoke, the whole figure just wafts away and leaves nothing. Aeolus, you hear the soft thump of an arrow hitting grass directly behind you.
I was standing next to him, so I just
I-
imagine like me and Illis just stare like, "Can I help you?" like
So, seeing this, I look up toward Ankai's direction and ask him, "What did you see?"
I love that you have that much trust in him
Yeah,
that he
wasn't
just
shooting
blindly-
at you or,
He's
you
just
know.
like, "Whoa."
I saw
Well,
him
I
try
have
to
a reason I'm
murder you
asking.
personally.
Okay.
I saw Aeolus.
I don't. Yeah, you have dark vision, so you can see the manic look in his eyes. He hasn't slept yet. He's very still disturbed from earlier in the day. His eyes is just like it's a figure in the woods, man.
Mortanis, can I do a? I guess it would be a history check to see if I remember anything from the history of the Wood Elves, see if anything rings a bell of anything like this happening in the past.
I'm going to go ahead and say that you don't need to worry about that because no, definitely not the sort of thing
Cool.
that anyone would remember on that one.
It's a good spirit.
But I will say that you have a sudden, overwhelming urge to rake fingers across your chest as it begins to itch like 1,000 ants burrowing beneath your skin. Hey, have you ever seen the second Hellraiser movie where the dude thinks he's got ants under his skin and he has to carve them out? And yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. It's like that. It hurts. Oh, God, it burns.
Oh,
So I assume
Is
he's
it
like
me or
screaming in pain.
Aeolus?
I'm just like,
I don't know. I mean, he's a pretty stoic fellow. I mean, he could, I don't know.
does this itching happen to be around the area of a certain tattoo?
I don't know. I mean, your whole chest is itching right now. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that is indicative of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep looking over. Like I'm on this tree and I have another arrow drawn and ready, but I am looking behind me. I'm just like circling constantly. I'm not being sure it doesn't get behind me.
Scrambling around the tree, just
Going from branch to branch and going to try and hide again.
Okay.
Come on, just let me be hidden. All right, finally, cool. I'm gonna Schwarzenegger this thing.
You are very stealthy. Aeolus, anything you want to do, or you know?
Yeah, because I don't know what's going on and I just had something behind me, I'm going to
Clark Kent it
Cool.
and rip open your armor. Well, no, it's armor. You wear armor, probably leather. Though you probably weren't sleeping in it. Be awkward.
yeah,
Sleeping
studded leather actually.
As long as
Mhm.
it's light, you can sleep in.
So I'm going to ready a short sword and just to be prepared, cast Crimson Right so that I'm ready.
Get out of me, demon!
So for that, I need to roll 1d4 to take that damage. But I now have a flaming sword.
Right. Okay. I do appreciate it. I like that power. That's pretty darn nifty, if you ask me here.
So I take 2 damage, and I have a flaming sword that I can then use and do extra damage if I get near it.
Okay.
I choose this one time not to have my protection against good and evil, or to find the good and evil. Damn it.
Of course you do.
Of course. Well, I'll keep true to myself. It seems like Aeolus, Anakai, and no one else actually is doing anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Bless. And I'm going to cast Bless on Aeolus, Anakai, and Udalotsa. There we go.
Okay.
So I'm just going to close my eyes and I'm going to focus on my holy symbol. And when I open my eyes, I say, "Take my blessing. Take Halato's protection. Use it." Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's a Zealot.
I look at all of you and go,
That's a Murloc.
Take Hazato's protection. And yes, you have a
Whether
bless
you like
on
it
you.
or not.
Yes, I don't ask permission.
No.
So you're now blessed. Get over it. And under my breath, I say, Hazato's better than Fox. No, I'm kidding. So Anakai, Udalotsa, and Aeolus, you all have blessed right now.
Cool.
I'm on full lookout right now, trying to find this apparition.
Time passes and nothing happens. Nothing
So,
appears, nothing changes. The same rain,
So
the
a quick
same
question
darkness.
on Blast, is
Mhm.
that
It's a D4.
is that every time we do one, or is that just a one time?
As long as he
Well,
maintains it. And
as
up to a minute afterwards.
Yes.
It's a concentration one. It's nifty. It's as opposed to the sorcerer one, which I cannot remember the name of, which is consumed once it's used.
Yes, but unfortunately, it's only up to 1 minute. So we have a total of 1 minute sitting here in the darkness, and if it doesn't appear in a minute, it just goes poof.
Nothing happens in a minute.
It goes poof.
Oh, and your chest doesn't hurt anymore. Everything's cool.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Might I suggest that we all come together? Is there some sort of damn, it's the elves, isn't it? Udalotsa, is there any way that we're able to create a fire without burning your people? Or these elves? I know they're not fans of us destroying things. However, right now my life is a lot more important than the frail feelings of these long-lived creatures. No offense. I apologize. I don't really care that I said that. I remember, speak truth.
This one feels that in this situation, light is more important than the history of dead trees.
I mean, there's already a tree that got lit on fire and no one went and put it out anyway. So that one's like, you know.
The rain will put it out. It's fine.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually, now that I think about it.
I just kind of like put my bow and a burning tree.
Oh my gosh, some sort of weird creature lit that tree on fire. What strange beast ate our horse and burned a tree?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
And uses
Our
arrows
horse had a
exactly like
name.
mine. I don't
mean,
understand.
To
You
be
remember
fair, Udalotsa doesn't care that. Right, Udalotsa's like, I will help collect the branches that have fallen to make a fire.
All right, cool.
Doesn't take you long to get a nice fire going that doesn't require any sort of protections to keep it from falling apart under the gentle, soft rain. But as time passes, Nothing else happens. That same silence, that same oppressive, no longer oppressive silence, the same rain, everything. There's just no more feeling of animosity, no more spirits appear, no more shifting things in the dark. Horse is still very dead over there.
Thanks.
I'd like to.
Horses don't get back up for DuskFire, just putting that out there. And
Oh,
also,
I'd
it would
like-
have to be
Oh,
next dusk.
We could have called him Duskland.
Because it only happens when the sun sets, and he was killed after the sun sets. So were he the sort that would rise up again, it wouldn't be till tomorrow night. So
I will make sure that I bring Hubert and then whatever the other horses. I have no business naming him unless
definitely
someone
not
else is
going to name him,
him.
otherwise he'll die. Yeah.
Yes.
I
I'll
mean,
bring.
Hubert will die too.
I'll bring those two horses in a little bit closer to the fire. And if we are all kind of sitting down, I will pull the cloak over my head and I will sit very close to Hubert on the perimeter. I'll turn to the others and say, I'll just keep watch on this perimeter, make sure it grabs no more of our creatures. We can't afford to lose another horse. I do not like the thought of having to travel through foot for the rest of our journey. I'm sure this is a clever guy, so no one sees that. But anyways, and I'll just sit there and make sure that the perimeter is watched. Though I think I stayed up for the first watch anyways. So
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, this happened during the first watch. It's still within 4 or 5 hours of when you guys settled down. About 4 hours.
I kind of like tap you on the shoulder. I'm like, I appreciate the effort, but perhaps we should get some rest and let someone else do the night watch. They can wake us up just like how we did.
I'll stay up just for a little longer, just to make sure that it does not come up. But I will go to sleep soon. I cannot sleep at the moment. So yes, get the other watch going, and I will join you in sleep in a moment. And I'll just kind of huddle down still in my cloak and just watch in the darkness.
I'm so okay, and I'll wake up the next watch. Be like, I guess they're awake, so I'll just be like, y'all's turn, and just immediately pass it. Yeah.
Okay, the second watch is going to be Aeolus and who?
Udalotsa.
Okay.
I thought they were on last watch.
Well,
Or I'm on last watch. You're right.
are you going to take 3 watches? Because if so, then that's 3 hours each of a 9-hour shift. Otherwise, 2 watches is 4 hours and 4 hours.
Yeah, two watches covers the long rest. So
Yeah.
That's what I figured, but some parties that I've worked with prefer to do 3 shifts. I'm not sure
Yeah,
why,
because
though.
I think the thing is, with long rest, you can do 2 hours of essentially short rest activity. You only need 6 hours of actual sleep, so it'd be like 2-hour shifts is how I've
That's
seen it done.
probably why then they've kind of done that before.
That's up
So,
to you guys.
yeah, I mean, 4 and 4 is okay. Otherwise, 3 and 3 is 3, 3, 3.
I'm back. Also, Martinez, did you get my earlier whispers?
No, because I don't have that up on my side. Hold on. Now that I've got
Okay.
this. Aren't whispers supposed to call out in a different color for me? How far back was that? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Should
it's
be
supposed
yellow,
to. It's the entire box is supposed to be yellow instead of white.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think two watches is fine.
Okay.
I don't think we need anything more than 2.
Okay. Those of you on the second watch, please give me perception checks.
And I will be up just for a short moment in the second rest, but eventually sleep will take me, and I will end up going to sleep, so I won't roll.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, nice.
Ooh, nice.
That's pretty good.
That's
Okay.
much better than double 6.
Yes.
Yes, I would agree with that.
All right. So, as morning approaches, the sunlight begins to filter through the trees. The rain is still ever present, and that silence is still there. And as you're keeping watch on things, Aeolus, you notice as you're just kind of passing your eyes between everything, keeping an eye, there are 2 figures standing on trees nearish you, squatting down, watching, staring at you. And one of them kind of smiles as you notice. And a wood elf drops down to the ground with gentle ease, landing softly. Ah, you have noticed. You are awake now. Excellent. They are both women. They are both clearly wood elves, and they are both clearly rangers based off of their attire and their weapons as such.
Get it.
We had despaired whether or not one of such as yourself would even notice. I believed that you were trained. My companion here had no such illusions, especially since you seem to be in the company of outsiders. Curious, why do you saddle yourselves with such inferior creatures?
I sneeze in my sleep.
But I roll over like just like half a. I'm half elf. Shut up.
I'm at least half of you.
So, how far away were they when they say this?
They were like in the trees closest to you, and it's kind of
Okay.
scary how close they got.
Gotcha. I say to them, well, I was not raised in this area.
That we can tell from your interesting looks. You smell different too.
My family moved away from Silvercourt long ago.
Many do. Few return. Why have you come to our woods then?
Mainly passing through.
Ah, yes, as so many of those kind, and she gestures at, your sleeping companions, tend to do, traverse through our woods. I am Ranger Samare. This is Kaerthina.
Nice to meet you. My name is Eolus.
I'll post those in chat for anyone that actually likes to
Please do.
Please do.
write that
Please
sort
do.
of stuff down. It seems that you have had an interesting evening. She gestures towards the dead horse. We have been
Yes.
tracking a strange creature. Most curious. It seems that you have run afoul of it as well, and yet here you sleep mere feet from one of its prey. Bold. Am I right that you have a type of training? You have the look of a warrior, one who is at ease with a weapon.
Yes, I was trained to be a guard in the town where I grew up.
Samare gives a wide smile, and it does appear to be genuine. Ah, a noble calling, even if it is for one such as a protector of the lesser races. Someone must do it. They cannot be trusted on their own.
I cough like. Just
Do you also hunt this beast? It seems to have killed one of your beasts of burden. A most troublesome thing in these forests. One would not want to be kept here for over long.
Yes, so I see. I was not aware of the beast until we came across it last night.
We were not aware of the beast until we came across this either, but nonetheless, it is our duty to protect these forests, and protect it we shall.
Noble cause indeed. Do you have a name for this creature?
We do not know what it is. Come, look. It is curious. She gestures at the horse and walks on over to it. Soft footfalls, barely audible in the weird silence. She gestures at the gigantic gaping hole that goes from throat all the way down to mid-chest. That is not a wolf, nor bear, nor any sort of natural creature that I am familiar with. Nothing that has ever been in these woods as long as I have been. And she kind of gives you a very mirthful, playful smile. And I have been a part of these woods for a very long time, young one. This, however, is more concerning. And she gestures at the shoulder. And there is a series of, I don't know, maybe 20 or so puncture wounds. It looks like it's been hit by a bunch of arrows from a distance. All of them, having bled quite profusely, marring the flesh underneath it. I do not know what to make of that. No wolf nor bear that I know of hunts in such a very strange manner. What do you make of it, Protector?
I'm not sure what to make of the markings, but I do know that when we came across it last night, it seemed to be invisible.
Invisible. Now that is troubling, but it still grants no more clarity than if the beast were completely visible. I do not know what that might be. Tell me, would you be interested in plying your trade locally?
In what manner do you mean?
We are trained rangers. These woods are ours. We must determine and protect. Whatever happened here may happen elsewhere, perhaps even to our own kin, and that must not be allowed. We will continue our search and bring word to other rangers, but you are trained, you are elf, you are at least kin in some way, even though you travel with the lessers. Would you be willing to hunt this creature? To be, how is it that outlanders handle such things? To be paid, as it were? Do you require money? Is that a thing that would help? We would appreciate any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Trained eyes upon this situation. We would be fools to turn away any help, even the lessers.
That seems to be an agreeable offer. If I run across this in the future, I will be sure to take care of it any way I can.
She gives another smile, and you do notice that at this point, Kaerthina has said nothing whatsoever, but does kind of nod at appropriate points. Oh no, we do not mean should you pass across it. We mean we would be willing to recompense you for actively hunting this thing, as you have already lost one of your beasts of burden. You can certainly understand how dangerous this might be, and it may still be hunting you, perhaps, yes? Would you and your kin be interested in hunting it down for pay? I think everybody's still asleep.
They
except for those two.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for the others.
No one should speak for the others. You are your own elf, the only
Yes.
one whose voice matters in this. Though, and she turns to look at Udalotsa, you I find very intriguing. What manner of creature are you that has the form of a man, but the looks of something more primal? You are very interesting, I must say. And she actually, slides closer and starts giving you the eyes once over, not in any sort of appreciative, meat type of a way, you're interesting. You're more of a curiosity for her interest.
Udalotsa says, this one was known as the keeper of the trees.
Hold on.
Whisper check.
Check your inbox.
And I'm not sure what that was, but there was some sort of a distant scream. I hope that was TV. Keeper of the trees, you say?
Yes.
Okay. She furrows her brow. That tickles a memory. Ancient, distant, long before even the elves traveled these lands. Something even more of the earth than we, as difficult as that may be to believe. I accord you full rights of the forest, as is within my ability, limited as they are. You are more kin, perhaps, than kin. And she glances over at Aeolus for a second. And after a second, she looks like she's hesitating as if thinking of something, and then actually takes a knee and gives a decent, deep bow. She stands.
This one.
And then, yeah.
This one is pleased. Thank you.
She smiles and then ghosts across the distance right on up until she's right in Aeolus's face. And with a quick hand, she pops a clasp off of her cloak and swings it off of her and then tucks it into a pouch on her backpack that you hadn't even noticed before because it just blends so perfectly. And she palms the brooch and then presses it into Aeolus's hand. This is the symbol of the Sunset Sisters. it will grant you the truth of the situation should you take it to town. If you have completed the task, none will doubt the veracity as long as you carry this. Should you choose not to hunt, we understand, for each of us has a path that we must follow on our own, as the world wills it. But should you choose to hunt down this beast, should you be successful and not find yourself in its belly, then you may take this and you will find recompense in Silvercourt. And perhaps we will meet again. But the Sunset Sisters must continue. We have work to do. Gentle morning and long life, friend. And with that, she turns and gives like a quick little hand gesture towards her companion, who still has said absolutely nothing, and vanishes off into the woods.
I just turn and sorry, pulling up my notes here. Try and look at Ulosa and say, "That was interesting. Shall we return to the others?"
I mean, you're standing literally like 5 feet, 10
Yeah.
feet from them. So,
Shift
why
shifts
don't
3 inches to the left. Rejoin the
Yeah,
others.
there you go. There you go.
why don't you give me a there's no like knowledge elf check, so history would probably be the closest.
I
Yeah.
swear to God, if you roll high on this, so help me God.
Nat 20. Nat 20. Nat 20.
It better be super mediocre. Give me a 12.
Give him a 17.
22! Yes! Yes!
Called it.
Oh no.
Guys,
Oh,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ah!
Turn that into a 1.
they did.
And
Oh.
immediately,
Changed it to a
that like we didn't even.
Man.
wow. Okay, so that balances right back to what we
I
had
called that.
earlier for
Can we
that.
talk about that? I called that.
Uh-huh.
I called that. I'm just saying.
Wow.
It was already there before you even said anything. You wouldn't call anything. She.
I meant I
no,
called
no.
it.
Probably not a vampire.
Nat 20.
Do you need something, buddy? Do you
I
need
called
like?
it the Nat 20.
Can I get you anything? Can I? You know.
I'm gonna get him a
No
beer or
one
something.
will
That's what I'm gonna
history.
get him.
Yeah.
That's so rude.
The fact that you even
oh my God.
you even spent the points just as soon as he announced that he was going to be making the roll before the roll had come. Didn't matter what it was, I guess. It was going to be a dang old 1. That's amazing. So, well played. I guess that almost makes up for the 1.
I feel bad because I love lore, but I'm just spiteful, so I'm really conflicted here.
I'm just
but
scared for when this gets used in like a really tense combat situation.
I'm going to bump the prices a little bit because I think it works out to being you have to watch for about 2 hours to be able to do it. So theoretically, in one of our streams, you could do it twice, give or take, and that might actually be a little bit much. Maybe we should limit it to whatever it works out to be in about once per
Could also try and
evening.
limit it to once a person per session.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I'm not sure if I can enforce that, but
No, but at least for right now, until things get bigger, we could try and either make a bot or have something else to have a list of like the names of people who
Yeah.
have done it.
yeah, it's not a bad idea. We can do something
A bot,
along
you
those
say?
lines. Nonetheless, thank you
I may know
for
someone.
that, Mr. the Vampire. As soon as the whole virus thing goes away, I got you. So, all right. Yeah, you have no idea what organization they may be from or what they work on it. So, lore from that will have to happen at a later point.